institutions, we are required to have industry partners, and then the summative, we are also required to have industry partners coming in during the verification of our assessments. We have not gotten any support, so the institutions are the ones who are bearing the burden. We also have to print our summative exams from the institutions because that's the CBET way. It's very expensive for us as institution. So kindly, that TVET CDAC carries all the examination fee, and then we are left with a burden of cutting lists and other logistics to take care of. So kindly, can there be, we are requesting that some of these things, these burdens like the verification of industry partners, the government has several industries. Can there be a ministry-to-ministry agreement that the civil servants in these places which can help us as industry partners, they will just come in, and then we do not need to pay privately as an institution? So we have ministry-to-ministry agreements or MOUs, understanding that the Ministry of Labor with their engineers can come and do our verification for the engineering courses. We can have people from Ministry of Agriculture coming to verify in agriculture. We can have people from government chemistry, people from KEBS coming to check on our applied sciences verification. So we don't need to look privately for our own and pay a lot. The last one is about the curriculum. And because the technical team is here, kindly, the curriculums of CBET, some of them are copy-pastes from NEC. Copy-paste from the KICD curriculum. The KICD curriculums, the certificates took 2 years, the diplomas took 3 years. Now we are bound to do things in 3 months, and the content is the same. So at the end of it, we are bringing up trainees who are half-baked. So kindly, let us have a review of this curriculum. There is a very serious, I don't know what you're going to call it, on telecommunication engineering level 6. Telecommunication engineering level 6, the modular curriculum, it is purely mechanical plant. That is air conditioning and refrigerating and computer mechanics, networking, which is not relevant to the course. So I want the technical team to take particular interest in this telecommunication engineering, occupational standard and curriculum, level 6 modular. Kindly have a look at it. It is what is not, it's the competencies being trained, it's not the competencies for a telecommunication engineer. And I have seen my HOD in that department. Mutisia is here. He can make a very informed anything informed about that if any need is, if need be. So kindly let's have the contents of the modular curriculum reviewed. We have just received our modular exams, and the performance is not good. And most of the complaint from the trainers is because of too wide content in one module. I am training in analytical chemistry, and I can attest to that. Most of my common units are lifted from NEC. A unit that I would teach in 2 years, I'm forced to teach in 3 months. It's not doable. It's not doable. So we ask for a curriculum review, and a curriculum review by TVETA licensed trainers. If somebody is doing curriculum review, kindly let that trainer be licensed. If it's analytical chemistry, you are licensed by TVETA analytical chemistry. Because all of us, especially the trainers, know what is going on today with TVET CDAC. I am sorry we don't have anybody for TVET CDAC here. I have not had them introduce themselves. But this is the reason why a curriculum like telecommunication, the expert who was there, of course, because of this, was not an expert in telecommunication. So kindly, the board, kindly, curriculum review be done by experts in the field, licensed trainers, and people practicing in similar practice, in similar competences required. A complaint from the dual department, sensitization of industry partners has been left to the institution. So the industry partners need to be sensitized on the CBET curriculum. And TVETA, we beg for your intervention. We have a big number of industry partners, and it is a tall order for the institution to gather all those people and sensitize them on the requirement of our trainees, especially those who are going for dual, because they train in class 50% and 50% in the industry. Thank you very much. I beg to leave.
Wow. Tuko pamoja. You know, I want to give you a story. Let me start with something that I experienced. I received a letter or this invitation on, when is today? When was that? Today is on Tuesday. It was Tuesday at 4. 4, yes. And I quickly embarked and came. I was that determined. I'm actually puzzled by the determination. And so I get to Voi. I had not been to Voi before. I wasn't even sure how I'll get here. But I told God, God, please walk with me. And so I came. And then I alighted at some minutes to 4. I hear you're calling it Caltex, eh? And so nilikuwa kwa bus. So this is the bus. So I'm told now it's Voi, get out. So I stand. And the door is opened. You see where I am? And I see about 10 people. Wamesimama hapo. So 10 people, over 10. Eh? So you can imagine how many eyes were looking at me. The conductor is telling me get out. But there are how many people? Over 10. So the eyes are 20, if not more. Looking at me. They are all men. They are all looking at me. And everybody is speaking to me. And telling me, Boda, unaenda wapi? And I'm there. And I'm wondering, my goodness, is this how it is? In my place, they don't do that. There is hardly anyone. It's clear. And I've noticed in Voi, that's quite common. I experienced it every minute. I use public means. I find a number of gentlemen waiting for me. And then I was thinking about it, and I thought, can you imagine that's a student, Ni mwanafunzi, an applicant. Who are these? The centers, TVCs, nani mwingine? Universities, the private. Kwanza private, you know, they even pass through next to our gate with their big sound saying, come to this institution. Who else is here waiting? Who are these others? And everybody wants what? Mrs. Mogo. And so the day I choose who? I choose one of them. Everyone else gets unhappy. So what did I do? I said, I don't need one. I walked away and went somewhere where there was a petrol station. And that's where I got my help. So could it be that we are overwhelming our applicant until they are wondering what to do with us, and they walk away? Anyway, I have heard it said that there is low enrollment, but it's a serious conversation that we need to face. Why the low enrollment? Is it the universities that have taken them? I'm not sure. Is it the technical? I'm not sure. I can tell the frustrations of the directors. But imagine we are also facing the same thing. There is a low enrollment. Why is there fatigue? Is there fatigue with our community? What is happening? What could be the problem with the low enrollment that we are facing? Because everybody will tell you that we were expecting 100, but they came 20. So I can imagine at the centers, it could be that it's not easy. Am I right? I think I stand guided. But anyway, so we have this focus that I really want to beseech all of us to have. The skilling of our youth. I think that's what we should be thinking about, even as we are talking about the universities, the colleges, and the polytechnics and all that. That we have this one person, me now, standing here in that bus scenario. And the focus is that one person that we need to train. So our concerns have been, and I think it's a conversation that we really need to think about, why the low enrollment? I wish to present the matters that we have, that we will talk about TVETA in our course of discussion, because we know, like somebody asked, where this information we've given, where will it go? So we sat down as a committee and decided just to give the TVETA our concerns in the process of our engagement with them. One, we want to appreciate, we really do want to appreciate the fact that, like one of us, or the trainer has said, there has been a lot of change. The one day this, the next day this. It's true, it has been there. But we want to appreciate TVETA. You've walked with us that journey of transition, where we were supposed to, we had registered for the normal levels, and then suddenly we had to go the modular way, and we quickly put our systems in place, and you allowed us to go on, and we walked that journey together. We want to appreciate the fact that even as the dynamics are changing, even with the authority, I'm sure it's not easy, and it has also been a walk, but we want to appreciate that it has not been easy, but you have made it easier for us. Well, I want to imagine that Jesus in the book of Revelation said that you have been good, but however, you remember? There is the however, an area of improvement. We all need a however in our lives, because if everybody is clapping for you throughout, it means that you will not improve. So allow us to just bring a few issues. Like it has been said, and I don't need to talk about it again, the need to speed up the process of progression after the modularization of curricula. That one is a real big problem. And the reason why, and that could be one of the reasons why some students have not come back to school, because they do not know where to fit. I don't need to talk more about that. It has been well presented by our trainer and appreciated. Now, I know you talked about the AI issue. AI. I don't know. You said there is a policy that is in the process. It's very urgent because things are changing. But I can imagine that much as we may feel overwhelmed, I think when the computers, I don't know which era you came from, but I'm sure when the computers were rolled out, people felt threatened. But people adjusted. So we need to adjust. I'm sure after AI, there'll be something else. And after that something else, there'll be something else. But we are here at such a time as this with the responsibilities accorded to us at this season. So we need to provide direction on what will work for us in the AI space and what will not. But you can agree with me that even AI itself is a useful skill that we need in our community. We cannot wish it away. I remember somebody somewhere complaining, why are you generating your posters through AI. No, it will be generated. And even now, I'm sure many things can be generated using the AI. So we just need to request that there is guidance on that. We noted, on a second point, we noted that there is need for oneness between TVETA, KUSIPS, KNQA, and the State Department. A serious gap we've noted that, for example, one day I opened the KUSIPS portal in my school and found no student, all the courses, all of them, it was reading 0. You know the way we place and request for how many you are eligible per year, it read 0. So I called KUSIPS and they tell me, no, call TVETA. So I called TVETA, and I'm wondering, what is happening? Kindly, I don't know how that is going to be, but we've had a challenge with the to and fro. We call this area, we are told, no, call TVETA, but we are family. I think we are in the same house. You know, when you're caught up between the fight between your mother and father, you don't know what to do. Sindio? Baba na mama wanachapana, sasa unashangaa. Who do I talk to? Do I talk to dad? And do I talk to mom? What if they are not talking to each other? I think that my team told me to come out categorical about that. There is an issue with the togetherness. And so we find ourselves being told, move this and move the other. That aside, even the issue of the qualifications awarding institutions, those are our polytechnics. So they find themselves caught up between. The curriculum has been developed. Yes, it's ready. It is in this space, but who follows it up? Yet we are in the same house. It's like the cup was here, and it needs to be moved, but no one is moving it. And I ask my daughter, let me call her Sally. Sally, who is to move the cup? I'm not the one who was supposed to move it. Who was to move it? It is Richard. You ask Richard, why hasn't it been moved? No, it was, you can just as well move the cup. I hope the point is well taken. But we have a challenge with that, where we as agencies, or the agencies and the people mandated, there is a bit of not sure who do we talk to. There is a breakdown of communication. We are also requesting, sometimes we find ourselves with directives, but they are functions. We agree it's true, and we appreciate that TVETA must provide guidelines and the way forward when we are given directives. But then sometimes we find ourselves caught in between. Take, for example, recognition of prior learning. We were asked to charge 1,500 for industry-based, 3,000 for those who come to our institution. But now you want 500 from the 3,000. We don't know what to do. We are asked we have vote heads for the 67,189. So we find ourselves caught up between directives and the function. Yes, it should be done right. I really agree it should be done right. But now we are all caught up in this directive. What do we do? At times we may need to give guidelines and provide, so we don't look like we are fighting we don't disregard the directive. At the same time, we don't disregard the functions of TVETA, so that we do one without neglecting the other. The balance is there. So we ask that you will kindly accommodate us in that space. And you know, in this whole matter, we have found some people caught in between. Like, I would want to talk about cosmetology, for example. Cosmetology has had its own dynamics. We have people in our institutions who are in such a dilemma. They don't know what to do. But you know, we are supposed to provide direction. Fine, this was done. Fine, this wasn't done the right way. Then what should be done? Instead of just dismissing and ignoring these people, they are our people. So we need to kindly make decisions. I have come to appreciate that sometimes decisions have to be made even when they are not really, sometimes you may make a few mistakes in the decision, but I am told that you'd rather make one than not make one at all. So we have the cosmetology team. We do not have graduates teaching other than Masinde Muliro, I think so. I think Masinde Muliro had some graduates in the cosmetology. So we have people who did recognition of prior learning, and I can see the deputy here of Kenya School of TVET. They said no, they didn't recognize that recognition of prior learning. And so they are stuck. They don't know, where do we go, what do we do? So I think, fine, if the authority feels that a mistake was done, please give guidelines on how to recover in such situations, rather than just ignore. We give direction on how it can be, the error can be corrected. We have a challenge of delay in the feedback. I don't know how this can be done. We go to the portal, we make the payment, we apply for certain courses, and we are on the TVET Miss, the platform, a good platform, I would say, quite responsive. I would say it has been a good one, and we appreciate it. But now we don't know, after we have made our application, made communication, there is delay response towards inspection of our colleges. It could be issues of capacity, I'm not sure. But there was a recommendation. There was a recommendation from our members. I don't know whether it will work, but it's just a recommendation. You can schedule your inspection. In a way, in our mind, we know that TVETA will be in Kirinyaga this month. I don't know how practical that is. Or will be in Kisumu this month. Or you give us a schedule of a kind so that we prepare and so that you are predictable. We know when you are coming for inspection, because we tend not to know when you will come and which month. So there is breakdown of communication in that area. It could be from our side, I stand guided, or it could be from your side. So there is that breakdown of communication and feedback issue. So kindly, if you can address on that. I still want to stand in that matatu, that bus, and I'm standing here and looking around. And here is Kirinyaga Central TVC standing here. Okay, let me say TVETA. Let's assume this is TVETA standing here. Who could this be? Oh, how many thousands? 3,000, eh? Wow. We are all here, yeah? All of us. And we want your attention. And we want to be treated special, you know? So, we want to feel good because TVETA is with us. But now I wanted us to, one, appreciate that TVETA has a lot in their hands. That's very true. But there's one thing I want to assure you. When you get there, you go to the office. Every time I have gone to your office, I've always left when I'm well helped. And we appreciate that. And we really do. And then on the other hand, among these ones, the 3,000, some are short, some are tall, some are big, some are thin, some have nothing, some have everything, some have what? You've had the centers, the challenges. Some equipment are not there, some, but I want to appreciate. I remember, I don't know, actually I'm hearing you talk of obsolete equipment. For some of us, we did not receive any. We have never received equipment. We have not, I have not. The 4 years, the college I've had to do duo, where sometimes my students are in school for 1 week, they have to go to industry for another week so that they're able to learn. So trust me, the problems you have there, I could feel the energy, like, mnachukua watoto wetu. Trust me, the problems are similar. Sometimes you think the grass is greener. On the other side, we also have our challenges. I have not seen a piece of equipment. So what we have, we've had to buy. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. But I wanted to ask the TVETA team, please just accept us as we are. When we are fat, it's okay. When we are thin, please accept us. You can give us some food. When my hair is not combed, you come forward it, you find my hair is not combed, just tell me, comb it, please. When what? What other experience do you have with us? Tunakuja tumekasirika, just understand some of us have of different temperaments. Some of us are happy, others are angry, So we want to ask that, even as I was listening, I would rather that we listen, not dismiss. When people come to my office and they have issues, sometimes I want to dismiss because I already know your problem. But then you realize you actually don't know the problem. So we listen. I want to request that we listen at each other as this space. Rather than feeling like ignored, because even in our space, sometimes we feel ignored. Rather than that, maybe we listen to each other. And remember, 10 years from now, some of us will have left the service. Some of us will still be here. But 10 years from now, the decision we make now determine the outcome by then. So I want to request that TVETA will listen to us as we are and also accommodate the change management. We have had a lot of changes, and I believe that we can accommodate the change. Why am I saying that? This issue of pedagogy, for sure it's true that a teacher who has been registered and licensed is a best teacher. But we have an issue. Yes, it's true. That's the truth. That's the ideal. But the truth is on the ground, mambo ni tofauti. Should we tell you people, is that the truth? Some of you said some are old. I'm exiting next year, but I'm supposed to apply for licensing. And for me to get licensing, I must do pedagogy. It's true. I agree. That is a very good thing. But imagine mambo kwa ground different. So how do we handle these people who are in our school, who are very skilled, who have trained for many years, but they don't have the pedagogy component of their study, and therefore cannot be licensed? And it's a change we appreciate. But how do we change? How do we handle this change without killing one at the expense of the other? I think that one we really need to listen. If it means giving a timeline, or if it means giving direction, or it means, something. Because I want to tell you the truth, some will not. Or I know they will not. I know they will not, because they have been in the space for very long and may wonder why. And of course, like somebody has said, industry. Sometimes you come across a very skilled, please give guidelines on how to engage industry in our schools. You get somebody who is a carpenter, very good, very, very good. It's skill you want, So you bring them on board. What are the parameters? This person is not interested in coming they are not forfeiting their job, but they are coming to train, maybe on a part-time basis, on a certain skill they have, but will not go to school to study pedagogy so that they are licensed. But you want the skill. How do we then bring industry on board without putting too many hurdles on them? Please give us guidelines on that. It doesn't have to be as rigid as a trained trainer like myself, but we can allow and accommodate the industry to come on board without necessarily, because they shy away, they will move away. because they feel like the demands are a little too much. So kindly give us guidelines on that. We are asking ourselves, Kenya. We are all Kenyans, eh? Are we? Kenyans. Kenya. Every journey starts somewhere. And I believe, I have a vision, I have a dream. I don't know how you feel, because for me, I'm very passionate about this one's aspect. Can Kenya become a tourism attraction in education? Yeah? Where we all go, which country is known for, I remember growing up, people used to go to India. I'm that old, eh? India. Degrees za India. Mnakumbuka? Is it possible that we become so good in our tertiary institution that, because I hear and I'm told and I stand to be to be guided, that Kenya is one of the best nations in terms of technical training in this sub-Saharan region. Can we then put ourselves in a platform where we attract this? You see hawa watu wa gari, mnakumbuka? Si hawa peke yao. We now attract who? Others from? We stop scrambling for this one person standing here. We increase our numbers on this table so that as they scramble for whoever, we have many to scramble from. Is it possible? May I believe it is. Is it something we can do? Yes. Why am I saying that? Because I think you saw something about the president signing something to do with education in, was it yesterday? Something about 1,000 opportunities. Did you see it? Soon, I know it will come to us, and we'll be told, just like we were told the other day, that there is a capacity for students to go to, trained students or our trainees to go to UK for agriculture, for example. So those opportunities are there. It means then there's something we have. It means there's something we have that we can use. We can create a platform as TVET that will attract not just our own, but even those from outside our nation. We also want to request that you help us also with visibility. I remember once we got a directive from TVETA that we must ensure that in our communication, we have something to show we are affiliated or registered by TVETA. I don't know whether it still holds that circular. There was something like that, that we need our circulars or whatever documentation we have, we must recognize TVETA. Please recognize also us, eh? Please. When you're somewhere like here, something, I don't know, is it a booklet from TVETA indicating or showing the schools or something? Visibility. Please help us with the issue of visibility as institutions. And with that said and done, I know that a number of you or whoever, I know we have had people talk about KUSIPs and the numbers, and but I want to alert you that as long as a student does not have a KCSC certificate, they are not eligible for, they were not then eligible for HEF. Eh? So please, it's good you know that. It is not everybody who walks into the institution that has the advantage of accessing that. There are some issues that have to be addressed for one to access that. Otherwise, I pray and hope that we are going to deal with our institutions and our areas of mandate with that one student in mind, that we are not working for ourselves, but we are focusing on the students that God has given us, because we are here at such a time as this. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate that we all have issues, isn't it? If you thought you are the one who is only having issues, in the morning I really thought the VTCs are doing so badly and they need urgent help. I'm almost changing that. It looks like we are all in Kenya. We want also to take this opportunity to invite the private institutions. Do you have a representative of the private institutions? Oh, Major, karibu. I hope your issues won't be as bad as in the public. I'm really hoping. Oh, that was, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Let me move to the top because I'm a short man. I hesitated to stand up because I am not the official rep of the private colleges, CANAPCO, but I represent the private sector and we've been operating. This is our field of operation. So thank you so much, TVETA, Chair and DG, for inviting us to this very good occasion to air our views. What has made me happy the last 2 days is that I thought as private sector we had carrying all the problems in Kenya. I didn't know we have helpers. I've had a lot of helpers here, and I would like to associate with their input, and especially the trainers here. I don't want to repeat because that problem is cut and paste in the private sector also, so it applies to us. So I've been making a few notes, so I hope I will not repeat what has been said. But I wanted to look at the bigger aspect. Those who are here, TVET, TVETA, and our stakeholders of TVET training, what is our objective? What is our mission in Kenya? If we start from there, then we will lay our foundation very nicely. Because our job is to train technical skills in the country. And if I remember right in my management classes, and the professors will remind me if I'm wrong, in business enterprises, manufacturing, and other areas, we have one scientist that supervises approximately between 15 and 20 technicians, who in turn supervise up to 50 operators. And if you look at that workforce, give the scientists university responsibility to train. Then the technicians split them into two between universities and technical institutions. And then get about 70% of the operators in the technical institutions. That creates a fraction of 60% of the workforce actually trained by us, the stakeholders. So if you can sit back and imagine you are training 60% of our Kenyan economic workforce, is that not a big impact in the country? So perhaps, Madam Chair, maybe when you are lobbying for political support and budget support, these are the kind of arguments we need to go in there so that we don't keep crying budget, budget all the time. We need to we need to emphasize our impact in this country. And when we look at our mission, then we need to look at our roles. All of us have different roles. TVETA, you are our policeman. Forgive me for using that word, policeman. And then we have stakeholders, both the private sector and the public sector. And I have been wondering all my life why we have to classify ourselves into public and private. Is there any value? For those of you who've been doing benchmarking, you've gone to UK, you've gone to Asia, you've gone everywhere. Where did you meet private sector and public sector? Are you able to distinguish? The answer is no. You meet an industry, and unless you are inquisitive, you will not know whether somebody is private sector or public sector because they are all working for the same client, the citizen. And facilitation should be done equally. Unless you are serving other citizens apart from the ones you are from Kenya, there is no value in actually classifying private and public institutions. The other details could be, could be worked out. Funding, resource allocation, participation, those are nitty-gritties. But there is no value in that classification. I think in Kenya we are very good at classifying up until we are recognized as a tribal country. It's as if we are the only country with different tribes. In TZ, they have 3 times as many tribes as us. You've never heard them talk about tribalism. In Europe and First World, they have tribes. They don't talk about them. But we like classifying ourselves for purposes of, I don't know what. So let me not go beyond there. But I wish you would explore that so that now, when we look at participation of both public and private sector, the distinction is not there. Because for heaven's sake, we are training Kenyans. Our graduates work in Kenya. They don't work abroad. They are not aliens. They don't become aliens because they graduate from private institutions. So if we could look at that, so that now we are able to operate in tandem and create some dialogue. That would be my third point. And the dialogue I was talking about, I did mention it yesterday, where we need to continue dialoguing, because if you don't dialogue, then you cannot work together. I did say that we used to work before in Sector Skills Advisory Committee, and I was not advocating that we go back there. We need to be innovative. Because you remember, now I'm addressing TVETA, when you are conceived, you are conceived in the year 2013 via the TVETA Act. That is when you are conceived. When you are born a few months later, then you started walking and crawling. And your parents and grandparents started looking after you. Unfortunately, you are born to lead an industry that has been there since Kenya has been in existence. So you found technical institutions, and they were under MOHEST, the former Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology. And if you looked at that MOHEST Act, TVET was hapo katikati tu, kama ile maji inakuanga kwa ile iroto. Unajua ile haina msimamo. Because there is Basic Education Act, which is very clear. The University Act, which is very clear. Hapo katikati, there's a lot of gray area. That is where we've been all along. So MOHEST came and filled a bit of that gap. So when you found us, we were operating there. And then we got very excited because now we have got a standalone parent we can work with. Although it's a child, it's a parent. So we worked together, and for many years we were collaborating, and we did develop very nice programs. The trainer talked about curriculum development. I remember Vera is a specialist in cosmetology. We were pioneers in developing curriculum development for hairdressing, beauty, and fashion. And that is what is used up to today, and it was certified by TVETA, by TVET CDAC. Somewhere along the line, they removed our names. Now it belongs to them wholly. But we still take credit for that performance. Now, what has happened? When we were collaborating very actively, we did not look back. We were looking at how to develop the industry. Since we were specializing in cosmetology, we looked at the industry, internationally. And the only competitor we had was South Africa. And we were taking our people for training in South Africa, and they were coming and practicing cosmetology, but it was not complete. There were very many sections that were not available. So what did we do? We didn't sit back. We said we are not going to stop at level 6. We will develop up to university degree level. And that is how come, to cut a long story short, we developed a degree curriculum with Masinde Muliro University. That is Vera Beauty and Fashion College, which developed that. And it is being implemented. The route to there, we had consulted a few universities, Kenyatta University, took. They were not very, they didn't see a lot of value. We went across to Uganda, to Busoga University. We took the curriculum there. Uganda is a bit slower than Kenya, so we gave up. But before we gave up completely, we had the late Professor Otieno and Kabaji, Professor Kabaji, and they took us on board, and we developed a cosmetology undergraduate degree program. And that is what we've been training, and those are the graduates that we talk about. If you ask the ladies and gentlemen who work in Kenya School of TVET, they have been trained in Masinde Muliro. And these are the kind of innovations that we need to incorporate and encourage. And that can be done if we have collaborative dialogue, we have regular meetings with willing stakeholders, and then there's something that we need to do, that is creating a level playing ground. Because when you classify institutions, then you create different level playing grounds. I'll give you an example of one very serious lack of level playing ground between the private sector and the public sector. Way back in the year 2016, we wanted to be listed in the COOPS portal, where potential students can open the portal and open up the courses and register themselves. The COOPS portal was not available to the private sector. We lobbied until we were told, now you can get in, but you have to pay some money. And the cost was 70,000 shillings. So in 2018, we paid 70,000 shillings to be included in the COOPS portal so that Kenyan students can look for courses to drain, either within the university, within Vera Beauty and Fashion College, on courses that are approved by TVETA. Now, even after paying the 70,000, I personally followed all the way to COOPS, I was walking up and down almost on a weekly basis. Eventually, when I met eventually we were not included, even after paying the 70,000. When I engaged the CEO, she told me bluntly that their policy is not to engage with the private sector. If I was being given a story by somebody else, I would not have believed. But it was me personally who chased until I gave up. So now we are minus 70,000. We have got accredited courses with TVETA, and Kenyan students cannot access that chance. So maybe if COOPS are going to make that presentation, I literally asked for that policy so that now I can interrogate and maybe we can subject it to discussion. But I think that it was not available at one. So I think these are the kind of level playing grounds we are asking for. Nothing groundbreaking, just normal level playing ground. Now, to conclude, I think we need to see how we can break new grounds. In form of developing new courses, when we get into new economic activities and innovative projects, I don't know how I can put it, but let me start by referring to, there was a lady guest there yesterday. I think she's from the Regional Commissioner's Office. She talked about flying. And she talked about trying to collaborate with a private person to start flying training. And if I had the chance to respond to her, I would tell her it's going to be a tall order, because creating new programs, if I probably came to TVETA with a flying training program, I want to train pilots and come up with a training program and all the details which have been used by other people. In fact, we have used them. Most likely, TVETA would tell me, go to KCAA, Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. Not forgetting, Kenya Civil Aviation Authority is not to regulate training. It's to regulate operations. Me, I want to train. I don't want you to tell me about operations, I want to train. So we were challenging TVETA. I am able to create a new innovative program, bring it to you, and you can certify it. And this is what we've been doing. I became a TVET trainer way back in 1979 when I qualified as a flying training instructor. And when we looked in the Air Force, we had to take all our flying instructors abroad to India, Pakistan, UK, and US. And somewhere along the line, when we ran out of funds, we started looking for ways of forming our own flying training school. And we did start a flying training school in the Air Force, and it is still operating there. And we borrowed ideas from the UK, from the US. The standards were there. We walked along every step of the way. It's not easy, but we did it. And I did I did a check on before I retired in 1995, I did a check on the first student who we trained as a flying training instructor. And a few years later, he was a presidential pilot. So these are the things that we can do. And I would have told that lady that it is important that you get, good curriculum. You can get up a program. And if you can manage to sell TVETA, the idea that you can start flying training, it will be very effective. The only problem is that flying is very expensive, aircrafts are expensive, fuel is expensive. A lot of things have been made expensive in terms of fuel and in terms of spare parts and operating expenses. And then you have to change Kenyans' mindset. You know, we are very bad-mannered on the road. So if we take our bad manners in the air, we'll be banned from flying. We'll be restricted within our boundaries only. You can't fly outside Kenya. So it is doable. Now, I've talked about the cosmetology course in Masinde Muliro, which we successfully implemented, although we never got any returns. We were supposed to get about 30% of registration fees from the university. That was way back in 2016, but we have never received a single cent. I think that tells about public universities. So, Madam Chair, there's a lot of things that we can innovate if we sit down and think without now you telling us how is it done in the UK. They started somewhere. How is it done in the US? We don't have to go there. We have got great ideas. M-Pesa started in Kenya. So if you told somebody to go and develop M-Pesa in UK, what are you doing? You are selling his innovation. So I think we need to become a center of innovation so that we encourage development of ideas and training programs. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer. Pilot, Major. Thank you so much. I don't know if we have any additional issues about the private institutions, or Major has adequately represented you. I really just heard him talk of cosmetology, aviation, I don't know, health. Are they the same issues? Oh, thank you so much. This is Lukenya, University TVET, karibu sana, Director. Your issues are different from the majors?
They are not very different.
So you can add?
Yeah, I can add.
Okay.
Do I go there or here?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Joel Mulelu, a principal Lukanya College. I'm sorry I was not there yesterday, but today I'm here. Madam Phoebe had invited us when we had some meeting with her, and it is today when we got time to come and be here. And it's a very good forum. I think we need many more forums like this to discuss issues about training in our country. I participated in TVET in the university. I worked in Machakos University. Before I was working in Machakos Technical as a deputy principal. I know people say universities get students and they are supported by the government when they are doing diploma. That is not true. Those who are doing diploma in the university do not get help, loans. And also, those who are in universities, there's Kirinyaga, there's Machakos, Technical University of Mombasa, Technical University of Nairobi. They only train diplomas only. And there are others who also train diploma. So the number of students where we are scrambling to get our students, there are few, but we are many institutions, including those who are doing medical. So our competitors are not universities alone, not private institutions. We also have other professions who are also scrambling for the same students. So we must be relevant so as to be able to attract students. The challenges we face as private institutions, to me, There are two. One, our students are not allowed to access loan from HELP, yet they are Kenyans. And their parents and guardians and sponsors pay tax. So there's that discrimination of not giving loans to students who are in private and those who are in vocational training centers. And the big question is, and if the government once can solve that problem, these are Kenyans, they are not people from outside. Why are you not allowing them to access loan and they will pay the loan? That is the big problem. The other one is placement by COOPs. It is placing for a particular group and not for the other. And when you check with the university education, all private universities are receiving students from COOPs. All public institutions, universities are receiving students from COOPs. When it comes to TVET, we only want our institutions. Why discrimination? And every Kenyan has a right. Every Kenyan child has a right when they are in this country. I can choose where I want to do my studies, either in private or in public. Those who are in primary and secondary school, as they prepare to sit for their exams, their examination fee, whether in public or private, is paid by the government. Why discriminate? To me, the problems are two. Not access HELP loans by students in those who are in county government-sponsored institutions and those who are in private institutions. And the placement. If we handle that, the issue of low enrollment will be a forgotten case. There's also issue of perception. Feeling that when you train in private, you are like this, I don't know. I've been to Vera. I visited Vera when I wanted to start cosmetology in Machakos University. And I met engineer with the pilot, and he guided me. It's a nice college in Nairobi Central District. They are doing good training. And they started training in cosmetology before any other institution in Kenya started training. So they played a major role in educating and training our Kenyans. And they need to be supported and recognized. So we need also to work together and not have private or public. Because I worked in private and I'm working in private and I worked in public. And I know the nitty-gritties of training. The other thing is about when you are training, especially in public institution, the concern is about numbers. And that's where sometimes you go wrong. When I was training in 1980s, our class used to be of 15 students. And you could not go past 15. Even when I went to KTTC, now Kenya School of TVET, we were 16 in my class. And if you are more than 15, the class is split into two. But as I was living public, there's a time I had a class of 79 students doing electrical. How do you train such a class? Why can't you also allow these students to go to other institutions? So the perception about private institution and the institution sponsored by county government, the perception is bad, and we need to work together as stakeholders and accept each other so that we complement each other. Even that competition, it is not bad. So when competition is good, you have a focus and you can be able to move forward. The other thing is maybe for TVETA, when you have such a forum, we would request you be also conducting us and also be inviting us, and we are very thankful that you invited us for this meeting. Sometimes you don't get the communication. Is it because we are just private? So we request that you also communicate to us so that we can know what is happening. And we thank the government for the support and the initiative they have on the training of the citizen of this country. I'm sure if we move together, we'll move this country to the next level. God bless you.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy you are requesting that you be invited in the forum when you are present. So it means that was achieved and you're here. I hope I'm not locking any other private person. Okay. How many, maybe by show of hands, who want to contribute on private institutions? It's only one? Oh, there's another one there. So maybe you could just move and we'll... You're not private. This is a session for private. Are you private? Oh, so maybe someone can give you a mic from wherever you are. Kindly done. Just give him a mic. And you? You are, am I the... We are now also being discriminative against the public. Okay. You know, maybe let's have him just a minute, kindly. We'll also be having a plenary on the issues that have just come up. So maybe we'll give you a chance on that, if you agree. Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Ombaki Dixon, Principal Thika School of Medical Sciences, Mombasa campus. So I have 3 concerns. One, I feel since yesterday, the session has been so educative. And I feel bearing in mind with the number of private institutions and also public institutions that we have, vis-a-vis the numbers we are seeing here, I feel a majority of trainers, center managers, and principals are missing a lot. I was suggesting whether you can have a program for CPD for the trainers, for those who are in TVETA, before they renew their license after a number of years, they can be able to attend to such workshops, which will accumulate and allow them to get their license renewed. I also heard about the previous presentation. There is one conversation that was going on. The VCTs, they want level 4. VTCs, they want level 1, 2, 3, and then TVCs, level 5, and then going forward. I was looking at what of the private sector. If we want to be accredited as a technical and vocational training center, are we going to only get the level 5 and 6 and you know, the private, they're under business. So with that, those few levels, will they manage to survive? And lastly, it's about the CANAPCO. I believe we have a lot of private institutions and we've not seen any representative on this forum. I would really want to get to know whether we have a session or a committee member representing such that when we have such opportunities being discussed, these can be trickled down to other private institutions whereby we'll be able to be at par with other institutions in public. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being brief. I want to confirm that we might not be able to invite every person in this national TVET forum, but we ensured all our key stakeholders are represented. We extended the invitation to CANAPCO, to CATI, who are the representatives of the institutions. And maybe you will also be charging them to also explain why they didn't send a representative, because we thought maybe by them being represented here, they could be representing their members. We extended invitation to TVET SIDAC, KNQA, case TVET, because some of the issues that are rising here, and also HELB, some of the issues that are rising here, they're likely to respond to them. So I've seen a representative of KNQA and case TVET. I'm not sure if there's somebody from TVET SIDAC. HELB, they'll be having a session. to just introduce to you their mandate and respond to some of the issues that you've raised here, and also give you assurance on some of your fears. We also extended invitation to the county commissioners. I don't know if we have any representative of the county commissioners here. We are not sure, maybe we'll be following up to establish as to why they were not able to make it. Maybe they also received communication late, the way Charity explained. I was really feeling so guilty, but I really thank you for being so diligent and passionate for you to be here. And based on the issues that you've raised, I think it would have been very wrong for you not to be here. So thank you so much. At that juncture, we'll want to open this to plenary, so that we also capture some of the issues that maybe have not been raised. But before that, I'll want to welcome our colleagues from TVET and KenQ, wherever you are. I'm not sure if you are in here. That is TVET. Kindly just come over. That is the DP. Kindly come over. KenQ. Oh, Jackie, you're here. So we'll want you to give you time. I believe you've been here since morning. And also Jackie has been here since morning. You've had issues that they've raised. To just preempt one of the issues about TVET, when we are in Kitui, we were tasked. You know, some of our stakeholders think we know everything in this TVET subsector. So they ask us so many questions. Why are our trainees not getting certificates? And sometimes we just try to answer, but now also escalate. So now I'm escalating it to you. We were being asked why we've not allowing them to undertake the instructor training course. And because the majority in the VTCs have craft certificate, and you are insisting that they must have pedagogy to be licensed, and they're not able to undertake that. So that is one of the issues that we'll be able to respond to them. And this juncture, KenQ has been with us, and I'll just welcome you to make short remarks. Let our stakeholders understand your mandate, what you do. Then you leave it at that, TVET the same. And then now we'll open this floor to plenary. And I know that is the session that will be chaired by engineer, doctor, pilot, our own. We also have our own engineer. We have ours with also many titles. He's going to be sharing that session of the plenary, so that now we wrap up this session before you go for lunch. Karibu sana, Jackie.
So thank you so much for this opportunity. As I had mentioned earlier, my name is Maura Jacqueline from the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, and it is an honor to be part of this forum, a forum where we have our institutions, right from TVCs, the vocational centers, national polytechnics, and even national players as well as regulators, so that we can address the concerns that are rising or coming up in education and training. So first and foremost, I'd like to extend the greetings from our able Director General, Dr. Alice Kande, who would have so much love to be part of this forum, but due to other official engagements, she could not be here. So receive her regards, and she's very much together with us. So I've been asked to just give an overview of our mandate as an authority. And to introduce this session, I'd just like to give like a brief history of what led to the actual formation of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. So there's this sessional paper number 1 of 2005 that was established to that was established to reform and streamline education sector, as well as address developmental challenges that were being experienced in the 21st century and align the country's education goals with global standards. So this sessional paper number 1 of 2005 identified that there were core problems that were being experienced in education and training. So there was one, the lack of a coherent and unified quality assured national qualification system. Each and every sector in education and training was doing their own things, all independently. There was no one unified overarching regulator that would guide and harmonize all these practices that were happening. And so that means that the education and training system was fragmented and with no clear pathways for learners to move between different types of qualifications. So from there, what happened? There were 3 things that happened. In the year 2005, there was the policy foundation that came into place. There was a quality human resource foundation was developed. Then in the year 2012, there was a legislative proposal that came into place. That is a bill for the Kenya National Qualifications Framework that proposed the legal structure for a national qualifications framework. So thereafter, in the year 2014, the legal mandate that enacted the formation of the KNQF Act number 22 of 2014, that thereafter established the Kenya National Qualifications Authority to implement and manage this national qualification framework that will come in place in the education and training sector in Kenya. And so now, with KNQA having been formed, then it led to the formation of the Kenya National Qualifications Framework. And what is this National Qualifications Framework that we are talking about? It is a learning, an outcome-based qualification framework that clearly highlights all levels of education and training, be it in the formal, the informal, or non-formal sector. The framework clearly stipulates the level descriptors, that is the knowledge, skills, and competencies for each and every learner or that a graduate should have before they complete their level of education and training outcomes. The learning outcomes are also clearly highlighted there. So the Kenya National Qualification Framework contains various sub-frameworks. That is the academic, the TVET, the industry, and there's also the professional path that is currently there. So, and to operationalize the Kenya National Qualifications Framework, there was this review of the regulations that happened some time back. And these regulations had various objectives. Among these objectives, we have the national regulation and quality assurance of education and training in the country, promotion of lifelong learning, promotion of international mobility of qualifications across the globe, alignment of qualifications with international qualifications framework, and responsiveness of national qualifications to labor market needs, as well as providing flexible progression pathways for learners that they can progress from the lowest KNQF level, that is KNQF level 1, all the way to KNQF level 10, that is the doctorate. So with that being said, KNQA has made some significant milestones, and that includes the development of a national qualifications database. What is this database? This is a one-stop shop for qualifications for learners across all levels of education and training. And it is important to highlight that our national polytechnics have really taken up this role of registering as qualification awarding bodies, as well as registering their qualifications on the NQD, that is the National Qualifications Database. So we continuously urge you that if there are any updates that happen in your curriculum or more qualifications that you bring on board in your institutions, that you continuously update them on the National Qualifications Database so that it is a true reflection of what it is that your institution is offering to the learners. So other than the National Qualifications the registration of national qualifications, the authority also has the mandate to align and validate national qualifications. What do I mean by aligning and validating national qualifications? We have learners from other countries who are coming into Kenya and they want to progress with their academic journey. So what do? We take these qualifications, we look at them, look at what it is that has packaged them, then we map them and align and map them to the Kenya National Qualifications Framework, so that now this learner will have like an entry point into this ecosystem of education and training in Kenya. And so that actually alludes to the point where Madam from Kirinyaga had mentioned about education tourism. So as an authority, we are actively playing that role of aligning and validating learners, aligning and mapping these qualifications for the learners from outside into the Kenyan ecosystem. So other than the alignment and validation of qualifications, as well as registration of qualifications into the national database, we also have the issue of monitoring the assessment of national qualifications. The Kenya National Qualifications Authority, being like an authority that should regulate education and training across all levels of education and training, that is be it in basic, in TVET, as well as universities. We do monitor the assessment of national qualifications for all qualification awarding bodies. This is all in the spirit of quality assurance of national qualifications. And then, so for us to realize or to operationalize the national qualifications framework, we've developed quite a number of policies and standards. Some are still in the process of development and others are awaiting for approval, and yet we still have others that have already been operationalized. I'll just mention a few. This is the famous Kenya Credit Accumulation and Transfer Policy that we are all eagerly waiting for so that it can take shape. We also have the recognition of prior learning, the quality assurance policy. We also have a Kenyan National Qualifications Classification Standard. This is a standard that we use when we are mapping our qualifications onto the National Qualifications Database. We use this unique identifier that has been referenced to the ISCED F as well as the ISCED A, the Kenyan National Qualifications Framework, as well as the academic orientation of our programs, so that it assigns a unique code to our qualifications that we use to register on our database. We also have a policy on micro-credentials that is actually being developed as we speak, and it is a multi-sectorial engagement. We also have the registration and accreditation policy. So with that being said, I'd like to continuously urge our QABs, just like I had said, to register their qualifications and to register as QABs, register their qualifications on the database, and then thereafter, the final process is the issue of uploading your learners or graduates' data onto that database. Each one of us, the heads of our institutions, please take that upon yourselves, consolidate your data, let us have the data for these graduates compiled so that we can update them on our database. That database will be like a one-stop shop. Everyone from wherever in the globe, once they key in your graduate, to see how this learner has progressed from one to another. And that will actually even market our institutions to everyone nationally and internationally. Then, last but not least, I'd like to say that the future of the qualifications ecosystem is about creating a respected pathways that develop required for Kenya's future economy. We should not only be asking ourselves what it is that we are doing as regulators, but we call upon all to embrace this new mindset where we have skills and competence that are valued, as well as the academic achievements that are being produced in our training institutions. We are moving to a time where every skill will count, every qualification will have, and every learner will have an opportunity. So thank you so much, Chair, and I now hand the mic over to my brother.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Yeah. think we have many at the chairperson, and I would like to ride on the protocols earlier established. I'm Thomas Kitonyi, representing the TVET. I'm currently in charge of academic and student affairs in the school. And I would want to take this opportunity to just give a brief as advised on the school activities. And one is that we run 2 regular programs. One is a diploma course with a degree and a diploma qualifications. It is good to understand that we deal with applicants or trainees qualifications who come in, who have already acquired specialized skills. So that is one program, a diploma one, for those coming in with the degrees and the diplomas. Then the other program is a certificate course for those with craft level qualification. Our diploma takes 3 terms. Because we run in terms just like schools. And the 3 terms are for coursework. After that, the trainee will practice in an institution of his choice. Of course, we guide on the selection so that he can practice in an environment where he can effectively get the adequate support that is required. So, in effect, it is a 4-term course, but 1 is for practice. For the certificate, which is for those with craft, and mainly from our training centers, the program takes 2 terms, which is 6 months. 3 months of practice. Where you are. If you are employed, we come to guide you and assess you where you work. If you are not, you can select an institution of your choice for practice, meets our requirements for a good environment practice. So those are the programs, and I think one is what I had been advised to give it status, the one for instructors, the certificate one. But it's also good to remember or to note that the qualification for this is a craft certificate. Then it is that we have, in addition to those regular programs, we have 30 short courses, and we keep on building up on this number depending on demand. These are the continuous professional development courses. Mainly 2 weeks, on average 2 weeks. Some might be 1 week, but for professional development. The target is meant for those who already have pedagogy. But in many cases, institutions request for this short course, even when our trainers do not have pedagogy. But sometimes we say now they are teaching our children, they are teaching our brothers and sisters in delivery. Maybe they're good for the country. So but we yield to this. But the advice we always give, that short course is not for presentation to the TVET authority for registration as a trainer. It's only to help you improve your delivery skills. So There are some who will think that you can come to this program when you don't have a pedagogy training and then go to register. That one cannot happen. So we can do it to help the children you are teaching so that they can get better. But for you to get registered, it's good if you come for our registration, the 6 months for instructors and the 1 year for the diploma. I think we are still yet to work on the CPD policy, Bwana DG, so that as somebody has those who want to renew their licenses, they need short courses, they are available, but probably we need to work on the policy. To address issues. Now we have CBET programs in TVET institutions. So we keep on reviewing our curriculum, reviewing our training approaches, and I believe those who have interacted with us in the recent past course or in the short programs that are tailored to improve your CBET delivery skills will appreciate. We are trying to address the emerging expectations in the TVET sector in terms with regard to training. There is something else maybe I may need to mention, that we are trying to blend our so that we have both the physical training and online. We have done this in the diploma. So in the 3 terms of the diploma program, one of the terms is the tech. So you come for the first term, we interact with you, and then you go online for the second one. Then you come, we do some micro teaching with you and so on. That always needs to have some interaction with you. The online, again, to make it effective, we digitalize the content. So the content for online is digitalized, so we can have better interaction with you online for effective learning. And I think if any other units online, then of course it requires we look at effectiveness of that unit being delivered online. I think some members are asking me privately, so I think it is good. We also discuss this. If there is need for any more, if you have learned with us, and there is any more units that you think can go online, we can have a discussion. But again, we want to make them as effective as possible in the delivery. I don't know if there is anything else, but I think that's the brief I would like to make for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. They are going to be still here, and they will continue to clarify on other issues. If by any chance you also have any personal issue during lunch break, you can also reach out to them so that they can now guide you at the individual level. So thank you so much. I want to hand over the program to our director, who is going to chair the session. They're going to respond to some of the issues that you've raised since morning, and also open it to further plenary before we break for lunch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible. Those who came today, my name is Engineer Dr. Edward Odong. I'm a mechanical engineer. A number of issues have been discussed here today. We may not have all the answers. Realize that to be able to have a working TVET system, we need partnership. As and you people, we are all partnering. So we may not be the owners of solutions. We all can suggest best ways to come out with solutions that can improve the sector. I noted a number of issues that, but all of us as directors, and some can maybe responded. If I forgot anything, my members will remind me. That is from the university, and trainees get funded. Somebody clarified that, so we may not go P, privately sponsored students. Institutions instead of the VTCs and the TVCs. Maybe somebody wants to be so proud that the child is a Bintu. When during my time we used to disease, the concentration is there. And the disease. Principles and exercise. If you are a manager, I have them on my desk. The Constitution should be on your desk. TVET Act Cap 210 revealed that these two documents are idling on our desk. Then there are a number of discussions that we could have avoided. We could have been partners in proposing solutions, but we could not be blaming what is already legislated. Something is already passed in Parliament, became a law, so it's already existing. So if it is to be changed, we know the process, isn't it? The process of amending a law is known. I picked one case. The case of a devolved function. That is what I picked. And I noted that in the 6th schedule in our Constitution 2010, a whole narration by the drafters of the Constitution came up with the process of devolving functions. It is in Schedule 6. Then it proceeded to go to the 4th schedule, in which now it identified particular functions which were devolved. And in Section 9, there it is where the trouble is with us. ECD is there. Craft centers is there. And instead of calling them VTCs, they call them village polytechnics. That is the law. It is in there. So to be able to change that, it requires a referendum. However much we stay here, blame each other about this or that, it still requires a referendum. So that is a fact of law that we may not be able to change easily, and however much time we take on it may not help us. However, there is an escape route. Wherever there is a door entry, there is always an exit door. To me, the best approach is at the county level, because they have the people we call MCS. These are the people who allocate resources at the county level. Lobbying is necessary down there so that the MCS appreciate the role being played by VTCs. If that is well captured and well done, then we are good. I have mentioned the history, the narration. In the 6th schedule, it was decided that to be able to devolve a function, there was supposed to be 3 years of finding out whether the county has capacity to implement that function. It is in the law. Then I am not going to say that it was investigated and found that counties have capacity to run VTCs. That one I'll not venture out there. But indeed, that was the law. They were given 3 years. They were given the function. They are now with it. And it is not possible to withdraw it from them. My last 2 points are also a matter of law. In the act which you have on your desk, Section 52, the act means the TVET Act. It is very clear who really needs to do placement. It is there. If you open the act, you will find. Placement of students is supposed to be done by COOPs, and they have not excluded VTCs. Anybody with the law you read, you will not find that that exclusion is not existing, isn't it? It is not. You proceed to look at further, I can say, things that are donated to the citizen, and they are categorized. I'm interested in what is donated to the youth, because there are some things donated to PWDs, there are some things donated to the youth, other things are donated to marginalized communities. So the one of interest to me, because skills is about the youth, though some old people are also there. So Article 55A is very clear. Whenever you see in law, something says the state shall, and we all know English, isn't it? It means it is mandatory, isn't it? The state shall, so the state shall, a sequence of them from Article 54, 55, 56, it is saying the state shall. Of interest to us is in Article 55, which says the state shall ensure that the youth access relevant education and training. So that is in the law, Constitution of Kenya, 2010. There is a remedy. I want to ignore that of marginalized communities. I want to ignore that of the old people, but I'm concentrating on that of the youth. The remedy is also in Article 59.2, which says in case of a violation of that right, then somebody needs to visit the people that we call Commission of Human Rights. You say that I need to go to school, the state shall did not apply, I'm here, help me go to school. So I think I've clarified that matter very well so that it is not under debate. Those ones are matters of the law. About funding, funding is about the functions, and the functions I've already explained how they were differentiated. There are issues that I would request the Director General to address. One of them is about enrollment. The DG, maybe you can tell us, these people are crying that enrollment is being compromised. One, by competition, but it is not only the competition. It may be many other variables that makes enrollment go down in VTCs. So there are a number. The competition is just one of them. Why do I say that? How many do we have in the TVET space that we are fighting about? Hardly a sixth of the total numbers available to go to VTCs. Those are the ones we are fighting about. The rest are in the villages. They are doing nothing out there. So if we come up with innovative ways of ensuring that they come to the space, then we'll have too much even to accommodate. So I will not say much about it because the DG will answer the matter of enrollment. Director Keter, I know this is a subject of interest to you, the curriculum, particularly telecommunication engineering, in which the people interacting with the curriculum says that it looks irrelevant. So Director Keter may handle for us that matter of the curriculum. It was telecommunication engineering, if I remember. The next of interest is about assessment, formative and summative assessment of TVET SEDAC exams. Somebody raised that matter substantially, that the TVET SEDAC receives the money, but leaves them with some burden of carrying out significant activities which should have been done by another body when the funding has already been taken by another body. I will request, already given DG something, I will request that he's not here with us. Mwanzia is not around? Yes, Mwanzia, you deal with that matter. Deal with that matter of TVET exams, TVET SEDAC exams, and the complaints arising from the panel. I think most of the issues that were burning, there is one that I can address, but somebody also helped me address. The scampering of upgrading of VTCs to TVCs. Somebody attempted to address that, and he did it very well. I think he was one of my friends the other side. The truth of the matter is, this matter is political. It is 100% political. You may blame your governor, you may blame your MP, you may blame many. It can come from the MP. Where I come from now, an MP is pushing for such. So I know it is a political matter. Somebody comes up, goes, greets the president, says, tafadhali saidia mimi, let this VTC becomes a TVC. It is not pleasurable to government to pick a function like from VTC to TVC. Why? It has financial implications. They would rather have it down there with the governor. But somebody else wants it to move so that he gets a bigger name and maybe a re-election. So let us not blame some people for nothing. If your VCT is being converted into a TVC, the interest may have come from an MP, I'm assuring you. Why? Because when it becomes a TVC, it is now a national government thing, isn't it? So now the MP can say, I brought to you this, we upgraded that. So it's a bit political. And we may find it difficult to blame a particular person. But as he said, I don't remember whether it was him, the governor must give a nod. And there must be public participation. Without that, it doesn't move. So it's not a matter that can take a lot of our time. When those other issues have been addressed, I will request that if there is anything still burning, then we can take 3 or more concerns. Yes. Yeah, okay. A matter, he has reminded me, there is a matter that came today morning, whether TVETA has sufficient authority to stamp its foot on the ground. And our chair is here. Will say that we are powerful enough to do many things. Thank you very much. So who picks up first? Director, you remember what was assigned to you? Please.
Thank you very much, Chair of our session, Engineer Director Othong. It's been an interesting session. We listened to you. I've been given to address the issue of curriculum on telecommunication. And it is something that I think it is within our mandate, and we will do it. We have done it before. I remember when we were in Meru, we were given programs of level 5 and 6 in computer or something, and we wrote to TVET SIDAC. There were 2 levels where they were similar, and so that issue was solved. And this one, through the office of the DG, I want to assure you that it will be sorted out with our sister institution, that is TVET SIDAC. We invited them. Unfortunately, they are not here. And we are not happy because we should not be in the business of answering their questions always. They should be sending somebody. And so chair will liaise with the chair there so that they take this seriously. If you allow me, session chair, I also wanted to make comment. I have looked at what you have said. And I can liken to when we were in primary school, and then you are sent home by the teacher to go and pick something. And if your father is is somebody you fear, unaenda kufika uko unarudi tu bure and you cook your story. And so we are that teacher. We, TVETA, is that teacher who has sent you. If those people whose institution are under county government, we have sent you to tell to your father or your mother, who in this case is the county government, to give you something to come with it so that you can learn. But you fear your parent. And so you came back to the teacher and tell the teacher, go and talk to my father or to my mother. And so we are somewhere now. But the main thing is, it is the issue of counties is a constitutional problem. You cannot coerce the national government to do the functions of county government. And you know, even you Lusweti, you know, but you are pushing it to us. And so it is a conversation that should happen at a higher level somewhere. All the same, what we usually do, we had a lady called Valerie in our board, who is a representative of the county council of governors. Unfortunately, she's been consistently absent in our meetings. But what we usually do through the office of the DG is to circulate this report to that council. And we were discussing with the chair before we go to lunch and the members here that in future, where there are critical issues. If you think your county has serious issues, then we'll be visiting that issue. And we do actually. Like when we came, we went to Taita Taveta, we met the deputy governor, we had a very good conversation with them. Another team was in Kitui. And we are lobbying on your behalf to ensure that environment is working. And as engineer has said, the problem is not even the governor sometimes. It is the MCA. They do the budget very well. When it goes to county assembly, hiyo inatolewa, hiyo pesa inawekwa kwa basari, ndio MCA aende apeane huko, amepea wanafunzi. That is a problem. And I don't know how you are going to, how we are going to confront that. But that is what I wanted to say. On the issue of coups, I also felt, and in one forum, I remember this came up. It is touching on the private sector. We should look, Kenyans, sometimes we don't know which direction we are going. Private institutions should not be seen as competitors, but as supplementing government effort in training. That is, even in the US, it is like that. Last year, I attended a graduation in somewhere in the US, and I went to this private institution, which was built in 1911, and what it is doing is marvelous. It's a private institution, but doing training. So we went last year to an institution in Kericho. That institution was funded by Wakalasinga, which have history in Kenya. They were working during colonial time. They established an institution offering the best training equipment in carpentry, but they don't have students. And the question, their cry was one. It is called PSI something within town. Their cry is they don't have students. The government doesn't give them. And I wish the government would just give them students so that they benefit from those equipments and those facilities they have, because they are lying idle. So we will also try to see through the, with the chair and the board how we can assist in that. On, I want to comment also on, I wanted the guy from Kenya School of TVET, you should have told us whether these lecturers who have been teaching for some time, is there an RPL on pedagogy? I don't know how possible that one can be, but also you let your those teachers, you know, you could be have been wasting people's time for 20 years in the name of teaching, but you are not teaching. You see, you can be in that position of teaching, but what you are doing, because you are not equipped well, was not teaching. So we want a win-win situation where maybe you could have come up with programs of RPL, see how to assist those people, so that when we come, we don't put a zero there. But also let them also work hard. They can go and use that certificate elsewhere. Who said that after retirement there is nothing you can do? You can use it elsewhere. So that is what, those are the many comments that I wanted to say about the many issues that we are raised. And thank you, Chair, for allowing me to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. These presentations were very engaging this morning, and there are some insights, or I would say contributions, that really, as TVET authority, we should actually probably pick up and see how we can work on them. So through my chair and the implement our management, I would like to mention some of the things that have been mentioned that I think we should keep on working to find a way of incorporating them even as we work. One of them is on the sensitization of industry partners on dual training and CBET. And I think because we have regional offices within this country, they could really assist us in this, on sensitization of industry partners, because we are working as one team in assisting our institutions. Another issue is collaboration. As one government, as people who are working towards impacting our youth, again, we should work as one team. Even as we keep on inviting people or organizations that we are working with, and some of them may not attend our meetings, how do we inculcate or try to improve our relationships so that next time these people can come into this meeting, and we can even put together a stakeholder engagement that is collaborative, that would include these people, and that is COSP, KNQA, probably CDAC, so that we can work as one to put our stakeholder engagement that can be not of probably TVET authority alone, but including our partners that we work with closely, so that we can answer these questions or these queries as one team, because we are working towards the same goal. Probably management will answer the issue of delay in feedback, inspection, the communication breakdown, and the contribution that probably we should schedule inspection and inform our stakeholders in advance. However, as sometimes we are called policemen, a policeman may not tell you when he's coming, so that he can see if really the quality that you expected to be having really meets the standards. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair and Director. I think the issue which I want to address, the issue of the institutions getting exams from TVET CDAC, and they participate and yet they are paid. And I think that's something even TVET Authority has observed during our monitoring. And the beauty about it that the TVETA board and the council of CDAC, they sat together and they agreed that we have a meeting. And I think we started a meeting. We had the first meeting, and we are supposed to have another one to discuss some of these issues which are coming up. And I think that issue will now bring it up in that meeting for purpose of discussing it, and then therefore escalating to our boards. So I think that's an issue which is already there. We have noted as a regulator, and I think we also are concerned. On the issue of communication, I think something else which we have noted again is that we have been using postal boxes which are now almost disappearing. But then, especially when you go to the vocational training centers, we have a challenge that some of these vocational centers, the email address and the telephone numbers which they put in our system, they belong to the person who is there, the principal, the manager who is there. So when they move with them. So sometimes it's a challenge, but now we are navigating how then we can actually assist for the county government, and then we'll be using the office of the directors of the counties so that the reports are able to reach the institutions in time. In terms of indicating when you are going, TVET Authority has got two departments. One of them is accreditation, and the other one is compliance and enforcement. Compliance and enforcement, they work like the CIDs in the Kenya Police. They want to find your natural position and establish how you behave. They may not give you a notice because they want to come and see how you behave. If they give you a notice, maybe they may not find you the way you are. But for accreditation department, because it's a service that you requested and you paid, we normally call you and they tell you that you are coming. So for us, we tell you that you are coming. And the reason that we tell you are coming, we tell you so that you prepare yourself. Of course, I do know that there are a few cases where when you tell you are coming, you can also procure some items to bring them there so that you show us, and then we disappear, they also disappear. But at least at that time, we are able to tell you that you are coming so that you prepare. Because at that time, we want to give you the service which you paid for. But compliance is the other way. They want to find you in your natural position, and they want to see how you behave when you think nobody's looking at you. Thank you.
DG, you are the one who is next. I want to rephrase your matter. There are three. Number one, the competing for students by national polytechnics, TVCs, and VTCs. Number two is on enrollment, which is quite low in a number of these institutions. They have given it as a matter. We can give an input. The last one is on negative perception of TVET in the country. Those three, DG, we request you to give your opinion on them. Yes, then we can address the others going forward.
Thank you, Engineer. Good afternoon. Let me make an attempt by just answering the three in one package. I want to make reference to, when it comes to enrollment, then we are speaking figures. I'm making reference to the annual returns that we got for the year 2024. The 2024-25 returns could have spoken this much better, but they are being processed. When we make a call for the annual returns, it's actually based in law, if you look at Section 41 of the TVET Act. From what I'm just receiving from my research team, the return for 2025 was at 44.06%. That's the return rate, the response rate rather, being 1,347 institutions responding out of 3,057 that were in the register in October 2025. So, but let me then use the 2024 one because those ones were already analyzed so that we can get a picture of this enrollment issue before we say whether it's low or high. The return rate for 2024 was actually at 46%. That was the response rate. And that was fairly low, but still we could make some extrapolation from it. Looking at this response, then we are looking at the number of VTCs in our register at that time were 1,188, comprising 43% in the register. However, when I go to the enrollment table, I get that the enrollment in the VTCs was 114,218, comprising 18%. So 43% of our TVET institutions are contributing only 18% of the enrollment. So indeed, we can say then the enrollment in the VTCs is low. It could say, without getting into the details, that we have some idle capacities there. If you just did an average, and averages sometimes lie, then we have about 96 trainees in each VTC if we were to just spread them evenly across the country. So you get an institution with just 96 trainees, then indeed we can say that enrollment is low. So I agree with you on that one, and I wanted to use the statistics to demonstrate it. What is the issue? And this, the Waziri from Kitui, this issue came up when we were discussing with the governor. I want to give the same response I gave when we were the governor. That at national government, and may I pass the apologies of the Secretary TVET, he wanted to be here in the closing ceremony, but he went down with flu. He could have spoken to the rebranding strategy that the national government took when it comes to the national polytechnics and the TVCs. Look at the theater we are sitting in. This is a TVET institution, okay? It can measure against any university, and my board has many people from the university that they have this kind of facility. This is the rebranding in terms of infrastructure that national government initiated and did. If we got time to walk through this national polytechnic, you would see the kind of equipment that they have. This is a hotel that can host any kind of group, leave alone those international ones, because you can see the hotels we are going to, which is our workshop, actually. If we found time, we would go to the other workshops, we would see the other labs and the equipment that they have. So the infrastructure, the equipment, the trainer management that national government did, the messaging, the positive messaging that also went with it. And of course, the positive messaging is not just about anybody from the top. the leadership of the ministry, and we have had the support of the president himself because of his history in the Ministry of Higher Education. So that alone changed the perception. This National Polytechnic does not have to persuade trainees too much to come here because of the rebranding strategy and the industry involvement which they have done. So they are attractive to the youth. Last time I was with COOPS, and in the reports they presented, students from Form 4 who have grades beyond C, the Bs, the B+, the A-, they report a number of those who willingly pick courses in TVET, and they come to the National Polytechnics and the TVCs. That is a strategy which I was proposing to Kitui County, and now I propose to this plenary that can be taken by the counties, therefore. How do our VTCs look like? If, perception is everything. If a child is in a primary school out here, let me call it Voi Primary School, then goes to Voi Secondary School, then he now goes to tertiary for skilling, and he has the options of Voi VTC, Voi TVC, then Taita Taveta National Polytechnic, and the VTC looks worse than a primary school. Will that young person go to that VTC? It's natural for yourself to be seen to be progressing. You want to progress to a better place. So can the counties, and I learned a lot when the governor of Kitui brought in the whole cabinet, and we could see the functions there. Can, for example, the Ministry of Public Works in the county design a model VTC? Can the Minister of Finance allocate resources? I remember what Director Lusweti was saying in terms of how to establish an institution. Where do you start? Do you start by convening people under a tree, admit them, then start looking for money for infrastructure? I think if we follow the advice he gave, so that first we are designing a model VTC, we are constructing a model VTC, equipping that VTC, then bringing people in who are aware that they will have qualified instructors. Then this enrollment issue can actually improve. But for so long as primary schools and secondary schools will look better than our vocational training centers, we will still struggle to attract. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, because some who are approaching retirement, like myself, are considering going for a skill in our closest vocational training center. I really don't want the plumber in my kitchen too many times, or the wireman changing the socket next to my bed. Those are skills I will be going to a VTC to pick. So the catchment may shift from just the school to even those of us who may be graduating out of the universities, and those of us who are retiring and getting some free time to do something. We have to pursue all those things, but it's true, the enrollment is still low. We have to adopt some rebranding strategy. Let the institutions look attractive. I wanted to answer this as a package, and now competing for students. Those that are out of education, employment, and training, the numbers we are quoting are 3 million. From the returns that I have in the ongoing assessment, analysis of the returns, from the 46% response rate that we got, we're making a projection of 830,000 enrollment in our technical institutions, National Polytechnics, TVCs, VTCs, and the School of TVET. That still leaves out a number 2 million of youths who are supposed to join these institutions. But they're doing many other things out there. Yesterday at lunch, I sat with Professor Faith Muli, and Professor Faith Muli, if you can just stand for a moment, Prof, was in the first TVETA board, but she has her experience in Machakos County as a proprietor of an institution. And she's talking about an initiative by the governor of Machakos, informally. And she says there are very many people who just come from nowhere, and she's seeing pass-out parades. I don't want to call them graduations, of people who have been put on some RRI, and they're being given startup kits, like 3,000 of them in one cohort, and then another, because they're not in the formal. So there are many people out there There could be problems about affordability, which shall need to be addressed, but the numbers are there. If our institutions are attractive, young people will come. But if they look like a store in a corner of a primary school, or that a church has donated some small space at the corner of the altar, we will not get trainees there. This requires its own kind of workshop to see how we can rebrand our vocational training centers. And a proposal has already been made here where we need to make some liaison with COG, the State Department, TVETA, and the leadership of the counties to just talk about this. Yeah, I think the proposal already came. It may contribute to solving this issue of enrollment in VTCs. We have to turn this around. The catchment is not about those who are from school. Anybody who wants a skill. And that was the reason why the terminology youth polytechnic was removed, so that it's not limited. So it's the vocational training center. That's why an old man like me will go in. So whereas the Constitution talks about youth polytechnics, that's 2010, 2013, TVET Act is talking about vocational training centers as part of the rebranding. But the rebranding should not end at the name. Chair, we can continue and on. What have I not said? What have I not said? You've tried. I've tried. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Members, delegates, I think I want to just add one thing to the DG's remark. Don't fear competition. Some of us who neighbor Kisumu County, I come from Homa Bay County, so Kisumu County is my neighbor. There is one VTC which is a walking distance away from a national polytechnic. Rotary. Just a walking distance. Can we say a stone throw away? But those who have gone there, it is overpopulated. And not only that, if one wants to do plumbing in that region, that person will not even bother to go to National Polytechnic or Kisumu National Polytechnic. They will go to Rotary. If somebody wants food and beverage, Rotary's classes fall. If you go to this hairdressing, those of us who went there, it is a wonderful experience. So it is a question of what do I do as a TVET manager? What does my bosses in the county do to support me? Those are the main issues. Why do we go to India to benchmark? Let's go for VTCs. Let's go to Rotary in Kisumu here. It's not very far. The lady principal now don't have a number. Please, let's pay a visit to Kisumu Rotary. And you will appreciate that the skill area there, how it is handled at that level, VTC, is wonderful. Those people have constructed even dormitories or whatever, classrooms by their own trainees. The food we ate there, DG, were we with you or we were with who? With the Wanyeki? It was cooked by them, served by them. If you go to the electrical side, wonderful. They even have a consultancy. I think it's for renewable energy. If that is a VTC, and the other VTC has the structure we had in Wamunyiri, and they are all in the same republic, it can be tweaked around. So the answer is with us, members. We have the best performing, we have the worst performing. So the worst should benchmark with the best, so that you borrow best practice. It is very simple. There are one or two issues that I want to say, then I report about one or two, then I hand over to the chair. There was a matter that was raised by one member, I think it was Lusweti. Lusweti, I hope, is in the house. It was a matter of unemployed TVET graduates. You are the one who raised it, isn't it? What causes unemployment for a TVET graduate may not be poor quality training as you alleged. It could be a number of other factors. Why do I say this? The other day in Kabete Polytechnic, National Polytechnic, the Minister for, was it Labor, Alfred Mutua, he was trying to see whether we can export some labor. That institution was full to capacity by people with different certificates, trained by you people. So would we say they didn't have the qualification? No, they had. They had, except in one skill area which I will mention. Not that there are no people, there are people. They are qualified, but not as per some standard, and that is welding. It is the only one. Only welding is where we don't meet international standards. But there is an institution training in Kenya here with the world standards, and that is Morendat Institute of Oil and Gas. That one, the welder, if he comes from there, can be employed in Germany, can be employed in Japan, can be employed anywhere else. Why do we look far? It means we can still also benchmark with Morendat. Morendat, they even imported a trainer with those kind of skills. They imported from Austria, who was training their trainees. So the solution is with us. The problem with us is about tweaking it a bit and then we move. I think that's what I wanted to mention. Then the last one is that there are some issues which were raised here where we don't have an answer. I'm reporting that the matter of scheme of service for VTCs trainers is residing with Council of Governors, because we have been told that it is there, it never moved from there. We used to have a person with us called Valerie Akinyi, that was the name. She's a member of our board. She was seconded by Council of Governors. So matters to do with scheme of service will escalate there. DG will push it to Valerie. Valerie will address it with Council of Governors. The other matter that was raised, where we don't have an answer here, is the matter of rapidly changing curriculum. That matter belongs to State Department. And the DG escalated that, the matter of rapidly changing curriculum. Other than that, I will request the chair of board to address the matter which was raised by one member, whether we have teeth to bite or authority, substantial authority, as given to us by law. Karibu, Chair.
You know, I think when she talks, maybe I may not talk after. I want to address an issue he raised about RPL. And I think about 2 weeks ago, I realized we have different perspectives about RPL. Because we were discussing with the TSC, they are interested in engaging some of our trainees after graduation to teach technical subjects in schools. And they kept on referring to our students as RPL students. That's at first I didn't get it. But to them, they recognize what they have done at diploma and degree levels as prior learning. And then what they wanted is we add pedagogy to their RPL, okay? So I realized all our students to TSC, all our students are RPL. And then they come to us, we give them pedagogy. What we have done in the past, we have been running a program over holidays to take care of those who are working, those who are especially who are teaching in vocational training centers and other TVET institutions. And we deal with many applications or many applicants. In the last one, in April, because we do it over holidays, April, August, December, so that you can fit there. In April, for example, we had over 3,000 applicants. And we enrolled 1,800 who managed to report on time. We can enroll up to 2,000 in one admission. But we were able to get 1,800 in time because we also give timeline. If you report after that, we can't because you have to meet some attendance requirements. So you can imagine if we were to subject to evaluation 1,800 so that we can give some credits or something, it could be a tall order. So we have not implemented RPL with regard to trainers. That's what I wanted to put across. Instead, we give them appropriate opportunities. We are flexible on time. Like now we have a county that wants that their trainees from vocational training centers be trained on pedagogy. So what they do is they organize themselves. We have done it for some counties. They organize themselves and we agree on time where we can even go to where they are and train. That's how we can help. But On RPL, well, we really need to be careful. Otherwise, we also want to safeguard quality. So that's what I wanted to say about it.
We have agreed, the chair has given us permission to give 3 chances because now the board has given responses. If somebody thinks he has something to comment, we need only 3 people. And the gender balance, either 3 gentlemen and a lady, 2 gentlemen and a lady, or 2 ladies and a gentleman. Professor. The other one is here. The third one now needs to be a male or a female. The third one, yes, the third one is there. So we start from Professor.
Thank you very much. It was really a wonderful discussion. Only one thing that I've not heard from any member, the issue of drugs. Actually, this is one of the main contributors of low enrollment. And also, the issue of unemployment. Because when some parents want to bring their students to train, they ask, na atapata kazi? So you find vijana wanaona huyo alisoma lakini ako nyumbani tunakunywa hizo vitu na yeye. Na wazazi wameshindwa na watoto. Wako nyumbani, wameenda training, hawaendi kufanya kazi, wanaendelea na hizo vitu. So that's an issue which needs to be addressed.
Oh, thank you. Through the chair. There is a question, maybe I would like to bring it here so that maybe the TVETA team can assist us. It is concerning about registration of courses which have been licensed in our VTC. You find an institution starting a course when it is not licensed and has not been accredited by the TVETA. Is it in order? That's a question I'm putting across through the TVET. Because the time of quality audit, the one we have carried out in Taita Taveta County, when we are finding scores being below average, it has been a result as a reason as to why some of the courses have been started without being registered by the TVETA team. We find BOG members, even the managers, recruiting some of the trainers who are not qualified, and yet when they're employed, some of them get green pastures and they move out of those places, and we find a course without a trainer. Instead of equipping an existing course, we end up equipping a course which has not been registered. I'd like that clarification so that we may have proper things being done in the county. Thank you.
Through the chair, kindly, I want to also put forward a question. It's also, I want to know whether TVETA has teeth to bite also. During the recruitment of trainers, we have witnessed trainers being recruited by public service who are not pedagogy trained. Yet, we have trainers coming from case TVETs. Now, TVETA, you license trainers, you license a trainer, they are out there without a job. While somebody is in classroom, already taken in by public service, and they have got no pedagogy. Alafu akishaingia in class is when you say, go to class. So what is it? Should you not stamp your authority as TSC does, so that recruitment of trainers must be strictly trainers with pedagogy, so that we avoid this thing of having a problem of so many trainers in the system and they are not pedagogy trained. So kindly, TVETA, if you have teeth, can you bite well in this area?
Thank you very much. Odanga was not around. I think somebody, is that the person who had put up her hand? I thought it was somebody else behind. She was the one. Okay, for the benefit of doubt, give that one as the last. The last one.
Thank you very much. I'm James Kipkasi from Baringo North. Mine is about the issue of appointments. When we left the TAC, went to public service, and we have positions of directors, county directors, we have principals and also deputies. It seems there is a problem there because we have something called deployment. This deployment, I think it is something which has to be checked. Because when it comes to filling positions of directors, deputy directors, and even the principals and deputies, there is no criteria. It depends on who is strong. This is shamba la wanyama, where survival is for the fittest at every second. If you are not, there is no criteria. And you find that you may find a trainer who has taught for 27 years or 28 years. And then we have a trainer who has taught for 4 years. He's a deputy principal in charge of a trainer who he might be a deputy director. According to public service, according to the payslip, he's a deputy director being led by somebody down there. So you find that the senior trainers can be discouraged. There is no criteria. You find there is a problem when it comes to that. Will it also affect the way we deliver? Even when you come and check maybe an institution, for example. It has to be clear. If it's a principal of a national polytechnic, what are the qualifications? Which criteria is used to appoint directors, regional or county directors, for example? Chief principals of national polytechnics, what are their qualifications? These are the TVCs. What are the qualifications of maybe a deputy principal, a principal? And even as we go down there now, we go to registrars and dean of students. I wish there was a criteria which is going to deal with fairness, equity, and even following the laws of Kenya, the way engineer said, that we follow the law. So that is where we still have a problem when it comes to the State Department for TVET. Thank you very much.
Asante sana. We have 4 reactions, and I want to make a request that Director Hassan makes a small comment about the drugs matter which is hampering enrollment in our TVET institutions. Hassan, Director. Then before you pick up the floor, Director Keter will take the matter of trainers without pedagogy. DG will take up the matter of appointments criteria as raised by the last person. The last person talked about appointment matters. The DG can take care of that. Hassan, Director, you will wait a bit. I'm taking the matter of unlicensed courses rolled out in our training institutions. Director Keter was away. You will take the matter of trainers without pedagogy. So I proceed to take the matter of unlicensed courses rolled out. Before me is the TVET Act, and I had already said that it should be on our desks as managers of TVET institutions. If you open that act, you have a look at section 17.3, very clear. It says, no program or course of training shall be mounted in an institution without prior approval by the board of TVETA, and no academic award or qualification issued by any institutions not accredited, registered, and licensed in accordance with this act, the TVET Act, Cap 210A, shall be recognized in the Republic of Kenya. That is the law. Anybody else rolling out any other course in a manner not consistent with the Constitution and in a manner not consistent with the TVET Act, Section 17.3 is committing an offense. And it is very clear. I can even proceed and tell you the fine. The fine is 1 million. If you have not read it, please do. The fine for doing that is Kenya shillings 1 million. Were you aware, my friend from Rongo? You were aware? This was a friend from Rongo, isn't it? Were you aware of that? This one is in section 4, section 17, part 4. It's very clear. You roll out a course, train the people, award the certificate, the penalty is 1 million. Let us familiarize ourselves with the TVET Act. For me, I read it every day. I read the Constitution every day. I read the TVET Act every day because I am operating in this space. I invite you to do the same so that we invite, you know, your boss will blame you. Even the governor will blame you. He gave you a job, you didn't advise. It is you to tell the governor, Governor, we are contravening section 17.3, and we stand a risk of being given a penalty of 1 million. It should come from you. You are the advisor to the governor. I hope that's clear enough, isn't it? So we can avoid a lot by simply following the Act. The Act is very clear. I want to request Hassan to... Oh, yes. Are you adding to what I've given or subtracting? You may distort the methodology of our presentation, but it's all right.
Thank you very much. I wanted to ask, apart from the TVETA arrangement at the headquarters, which other officers under you are near to us? Maybe are they at the county level? And if they are there, do they exist? Because a number of times I receive people from even the TVCs asking matters that I'm not able to solve because I'm under county government. Some clarification alongside that, because even when we want to invite people to come and go through our institutions, lazima watoke Nairobi, and they are normally in a hurry. So do you think it's time you also increased your ground men and workforce so that it will also help improve on a few things here and there? That was my point of concern.
Thank you very much. I'm lucky that the one who gave you the microphone is the person who also works nearest to you. He's called Dan Odanga. He's based in Kisumu, regional office. Dan Odanga, that's your client. That is your area. Asante sana.
Yeah, I'll give you my contact. Yeah?
Thank you very much, Chair. On matters and employment, and this is a national crisis, of course we would want to envision a 360 degrees for our youth who we upskill or who we train. And that 360 degrees means from when they are born to when they go to school to when they are trained. We want to see them get jobs and, of course, earn a living, improve their lives. So that's the 360 degrees that we're talking about. However, that is not what happens. So we are all struggling and collaboratively working together to see that our youth are employed. Much has been said about our youth being able to employ themselves, of course, and this is something that has been inculcated in our audit tool. If you saw, when we talk about the criteria for innovation, entrepreneurship, this is something that we as trainers should be able to inculcate very early when our youth joins our training centers. Because this will make them not being dependent on leaving training schools and expecting to be employed out there. That is one. On drugs, on Tuesday, when we came here, we paid a visit to our county commissioner, who was there yesterday, and this is one of the things that we talked about. Of course, we would not want to see our youth on drugs menace, but it is something that is there. So this is also a collaborative effort that requires all of us to play a role. So we are working closely with county commissioners and their officers to make sure that those youth that are idling out there, we are able to absorb them in our VTCs, in our training institute, in our polytechnics, so that we can kill two birds with one stone. That is increasing our enrollment where we feel the enrollment is low, but also actually giving them something, giving them hope that there is life and that their future is at a place where they can be able to create value within the community and for themselves. Thank you very much, Chair.
As he prepares, I think there is something to clarify on that. There are those youth who are not entering into our institutions because drugs is holding them back. I think that's what Professor was raising. But you center managers and the principals, you know that there is the other category. They have already come, then they are suffering addiction, so that the completion rate goes down. Because of drugs, they are unable to pursue the course. That is another category. That one can be keyword, and that is now of interest to us under trainee support. We expect the institutions to have a counseling office, guiding and counseling office, so that when a student is going down because of drugs, we expect that that student should be counseled, so that instead of losing the student back to the streets, let the students be counseled. Aendelee na masomo. Asante sana. Director.
Thank you very much. I've been tasked to respond to the question on issue of pedagogy, especially by the public service. And I want to emphasize here that our role of compliance, we are doing it. And when we don't do, there is another body watching us. Before we came here, Chair, we were in a meeting in Nairobi, and we had a team from Attorney General Office, and they were taking us to task why there are people without pedagogy teaching. And so this thing was historical. When TVETA came into being, there was a transition period of about 5 years, which allowed people to train those without pedagogy, because they were already in TVET, and they were given time to train. Unfortunately, there is no motivation, and they remain up to today. And so, from last year, I'm very sure in the recruitment that ended, pedagogy was a must. Was it not? No, it should have been a must. I think I saw the advert. And we followed, even the PS wrote to the principals. And that one we were very sure it was going to be a must. So going forward, if it was not, we'll go and look at it again and see. Otherwise, we want to also remind you that delayed compliance does not take away responsibility. It remains. And so let nobody delay and hope that we will count you because you have not complied. Thank you.
DG, you are to address the matter of appointments criteria as raised by the last person who engaged us.
Thank you, Session Chair. That gentleman from Baringo North is very informed. In 2019, actually we did an advisory to the Cabinet Secretary. And 2019, because the TVET trainers were being transferred from the Teacher Service Commission, that time, with effect from July 2018. So they were coming to the payroll of the Public Service Commission, and our argument was this was a different set of public servants that required some guidelines in terms of deployment. So indeed, we did that advisory. I don't have the complete one here, but if you remember my colleague, that time when Tom Mulati was in the director's office, and Charles Kimumi had just come from TSC to DTE, so they were managing that transition. We did that advisory, and we were looking at the qualifications of who to serve as a principal. And we benchmarked with the institutions. By the way, we have up to 45, Manzia will correct me, in the line ministry. At what level, for example, is the director of KEWI, Kenya Water Institute? at what level is the director of KMC, because then our institutions are comparable. So we had put up such criteria in terms of the category of an institution. So we proposed qualification for a principal for a national polytechnic. Then there are some TVCs that are just as huge if you look at RVTTI, depending on the enrollment. And if the enrollment is, for example, is one of these that are starting, then as well we had proposed all that in some staggered way. I don't have the complete one, that's why I don't want to mention things here, but there are a lot of dynamics. There are a lot of dynamics when it comes to assignment of these duties. And my director has spoken. This is something we take diplomatically along the way. But we did an advisory to the cabinet secretary way back 2019. Let me not say more about that, Director. Thank you
very much. We want to request the chair of board to respond to the matter of the matter that I raised. It is we were asked whether we have enough teeth to bite in some areas, or it's like the authority, the matter of the authority of the TVET authority. The chair of the board holds that authority on our behalf, so they want to address that, and I'm guiding that. After that, the DG will read for us some resolutions arising from this engagement, and then possibly the chair will proceed to close the session. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. Thank you very much, session chair, colleague directors, my very able technical team, and the stakeholders who have ventilated on various issues this morning. I sat here taking notes, carefully listening to what you are submitting, and before I even respond to the questions, is to let you know we have heard you, we will continue listening to you, and we will continue to create platforms to listen to you. I start with the first question. I think it was asked by someone here as to whether we have the powers or we are just seated and we have no powers. I want to start by saying yes, the powers are there and I will be able to demonstrate. But before I even make my submission, I want to start where the session chair has started. Please make the Constitution of Kenya and the Act your friend. Print them and place them on your desk, or you place them on your desktop of your computer, and make sure you read them time and again so that you get to understand what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do, the do's and the don'ts, because that is the document that will guide you as you operate in the sector and in the ecosystem. As Board of Directors, first is to say we have the full support of the CS, of the PS, and of the government. Those who know our peers, Dr. Moria, you know she is passionate about TVET sector. You know the kind of spirit and fight she has put to support the sector, to streamline the sector, to work on what would consider to be quick wins, and also continuously work on what is supposed to be long-term support. You know very well, during I think our first few years, she spent time visiting institutions so that she's not just receiving reports on paper. She's coming to the ground to see what is happening and offer support. So number one, we have the support of the ministry, the CS and the PS. Number two, we have the Act, and we are so clear, our functions and our powers. We have taken time, and if you remember, Dr. Wanyeki made up, I think it was the first presentation, and he was able to take you through our functions, of course, categorized, I think it was into 3 or 4 parts. So we understand our functions, we have operationalized those functions, and all of you in this room, you know, even where we are supposed to exercise powers, we have exercised them and you have seen. So the authority is not powerless, we know what we are supposed to do. Of course, as we do that, we also exercise the letter and the spirit of the law, because sometimes we understand the dynamics that comes with the law. But that said, compliance cannot be, like Director Ketera said, you can push a little, but eventually you will comply. So it's important to also ensure that you comply. With regards to the same point, and whether we're able to support through your county governments, I want to say 3 things. One, we take you seriously as institutions in our counties. And for that reason, we have passed a resolution, not just mentioning, it was a board resolution, where we agreed to renew our relationship with the COG, because we know the importance of the COG in terms of supporting your institutions. So we made it as a resolution, and we made it as a resolution so that nothing falls through the cracks. So moving forward, you will see a lot of engagement with the COG to support you and to request them to support you. And as part of those mechanisms, we'll also be, again, renewing how much we engage with them, like, for example, during their summits and making presentations and making sure the representative of the COG, who is part of our board of directors, is present and is able to push through issues and bring feedback to us as directors. And of course, when it comes, we will also come and engage with you so that you see how we are supporting you. Still on the support of counties, and I think it is Rusweti who made a presentation. We have made effort. We may not pick all the 47 counties at the same time. However, as directors, we are keen to pick one county at a time and push through. He made his presentation, and he knows we went there as directors, we provided advisory, that's not so Rusweti, and that advisory was taken, and you have seen the changes that have taken place in that particular county. We also made efforts to other counties, Nakuru County, Machakos, Kericho, Meru County, and we have continued to engage and encourage county governments to support your institutions. And where we have visited, all of you, your witnesses, we have seen changes. We have seen them even extending scholarships to students and hence increasing enrollment and increasing support to your institutions. This week, and the CC, Taita Taveta, the chief officer and the director, you're here. You know we had very, very good conversations with your deputy governor who was representing your governor. And you know very well we agreed we were starting a new partnership to support you and to provide you with technical support to support all the institutions. And I think the agreement we made there was quite spot on. There was no doubt that we needed to work together. And we agreed, and my technical staff is here, Kirago. We agreed that you will support them to be able to address a few issues that were there and were raised. So we are continuing to support county governments. My other colleague directors and a few of my technical team were in Kitui County, and Kitui is also represented here. You know we agreed, and we have put an action plan in place. So why am I saying this? We are recruiting one county at a time to support your institutions. We are here for an entire week. We didn't come yesterday. We came earlier so that we can have those engagements just to support you. So we are supporting you. We may not do 100% all the 47 counties, but I'm sure you can be able to see evidence. The support is there. Having said that, then I also want to share with you an experience I had, because I think it was Mugo, or was it the other lady who presented? And I think also this came out with regards to other conversations we had on partnerships. Partnerships are so key. But before I even talk about partnerships, I believe in service innovation. Last week, there was a TVET conference where I was invited to make a keynote address, and there was a presenter from Mawego. Mawego, there's a Mawego Institute, DG. Yes. There was a presentation that was made from Mawego, and they did an excellent job. While in that conference, one of the participants, who is also, I think, a deputy principal, came to me. And he was whispering to me the way he was transferred from one institution, which of course looked to be doing very well, and was taken to a village unknown institution where people had even difficulties pronouncing the name. When he went there, he found 200 students. He was able to engage the community, to engage the board of that particular institution, to engage the teachers. Within 6 months, they raised students from 200 to 3,000, an institution of your kind. What am I saying? It is possible for us to do something, even as we wait for all these issues to be addressed. So service innovation is so key for us to be able to do that. In that particular conference, I shared with them many strategies, but I'll share with you 2, which I shared with them, and the rest probably will find another opportunity. I asked the county representative who are there, and I can see a number of directors, Migori, and everybody is here, because they were also discussing the issues of partnerships, the way VCTs are not having industry partnerships to support whatever needs to be supported. I asked the counties that were present, if they can form what is called industry advisory councils at council level, at county level, industry advisory councils, to provide internship, to provide places to practice, to have co-teaching with industry people, and even have philanthropic people support the institutions because they can and support you. And also invite professionals in those counties to support you to find partners from wherever, even outside the country. This Rotary VCT in Kisumu has major partners from Canada. Trainers from that institution are always traveling to Canada for training. So it is possible for us to do that, even as we wait to resolve all the other issues that we are resolving. I also asked them to take the same route we are taking with climate change and consider forming private sector engagement action plans. Because private sector doesn't mean Toyota, it doesn't mean Safaricom. It means those small SMEs in your counties that can provide opportunities for your students and learners or trainees to be able to participate and make a difference. So please, you may want, and especially the directors that are here, working together with your chief officers and CECs, you may want to take those two takeaways from this engagement, of course, among very many other things that we have discussed, because that one doesn't require a lot of resources for you to be able to do that. I want to conclude by saying that I appreciate that political dynamics is something we must navigate. And all of you in this room, you know, political dynamics is not something we sort out within a week. It's something we learn as we grow. We understand who is in politics, who is who can help us to lobby. And as you do that, even as a county, as an authority, we will be finding ways to support you. And finally, what has come out clearly for me and from all submissions is that perhaps with time, we need to have a convening where we have all the players in the ecosystem in the same room so that we ventilate, we pass resolutions, and we ask every player in the ecosystem to do what they have to do for us to succeed as a team. Thank you very much, everyone. Session chair, thank you.
The DG, your office needs to, either yourself or somebody you have given the delegated to handle the matter of resolutions from the conference. Then finally you will invite the chair to close for us, unless if there is anything else. My role ends there.
Thank you very much. Makofi ya nyayo kwa session chair. Moja, mbili, fungua. Asante. Hi. Karibu Dr. Wanyeki. Dr. Wanyeki is going to do it for us. They have been preparing, the Secretariat has been preparing. That should be the second last business of the day. Karibu sana, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair. We have put together a communique from what we have discussed from Monday when we were visiting the county governments, that's Kitui and Taita Taveta. And we have a draft communique that we will wish we adopt. So the communique is Taita Taveta TVET Stakeholders Declaration and Communique. Preamble, we, the undersigned, representatives of TVET institution, vocational training centers, county government of Taita Taveta, industry partners, development stakeholders, trainers, trainees, professional bodies, and other participants having convened for the stakeholders engagement workshop on the TVET matter in Taita Taveta County under the auspice of the Technical and Vocational Education and Authority, hereby, 1, adopt this declaration and communique as a unified commitment to address systemic challenges, enhance quality, and align TVET with Kenya National Development Goals. 2, recommend its endorsement and integration by the county government, TVET Authority, State Department for TVET, national government agencies, and all stakeholders. Recalling the Constitution of Kenya 2010, particularly Article 43, Rights to Education, and Article 55, Youth Access to Relevant Education and Training. Also recalling the TVET Act, Cap 210A, establishing TVET Authority to regulate, coordinate, accredit, and assure quality, mandate trainer licensing, and prohibits unaccredited programs. Also recalling the Sustainable Development Goals, specifically SDG number 4, target 4.4 on quality TVET education, SDG 8, decent work, and SDG 9, industry innovation and infrastructure. Also recalling the African Union Agenda 2063, ILO recommendation on skills and apprenticeship, UNESCO TVET strategies, and national policies including the competence-based education and training, the African Union Continental Education Strategy for Africa 2016 to 2025, and the ILO transition from the informal to the formal economy recommendation 2015. Noting with concern, 1, persistent underfunding, inequitable capitation, diversion of funds, and inadequate ring fencing of vocational training centers financing, leading to dilapidated infrastructure, obsolete equipment, and lack of training materials. Also, the conference has noted with concern inadequate digital infrastructure, unreliable internet, and unlimited adoption of e-resources, exacerbating the digital divide. 3, shortages of qualified and pedagogically trained trainers, high turnover, absence of harmonized schemes of service, salary disparities between county and national trainers, and delayed payments. Also noted with concern is institutions operating outside the law, including expired registration certificate, the continued offering of unlicensed programs, and the engagement of trainers who are not licensed by the authority in contravention of Section 23 of the TVET Act of Cap 210A. 5, frequent CBET curricular changes, content overload, delays in certification and credit transfers, and misalignment with industry needs. 6, weak government and institutional asset management boards and councils that are not weak governance and institutional asset management, boards and councils that are not valid, and the absence of title deeds or land ownership documents compounded by unresolved land disputes affecting institutional security and continuity. 7, high cost of assessments, verification, borne by institutions, and limited involvement of sector skills specialists. 8, low enrollment in vocational training center, negative societal attitudes perceived as academic failure destinations, competition from university, and barriers like lack of help, support, and Kenya University Colleges Central Placement Service integration. Noted also with concern is high dropout rates, unemployability due to quality gaps, and inadequate boarding facilities in vocational training centers. Lastly is fragmented county policies, politicization of free education without funding, and communication breakdown between agencies has been noted with concern. At the same time, we acknowledge the ongoing national and county efforts in CBET rollout, trainer recruitment, quality audits, and infrastructure support. We are also acknowledging the strategic role of vocational training centers as the foundation of grassroots skills development and lifelong learning. We are also acknowledging the adequate, predictable, and equitable financing. We also appreciate that, acknowledge that adequate, predictable, and adequate financing remains fundamental to achieving quality and inclusive TVET. We also acknowledge the transformative role of digital technologies, artificial intelligence, and innovation in TVET. We also acknowledge positive partnership and TVET's potential to drive inclusive growth, youth empowerment, and alignment with Vision 2030 and the African Continental Free Trade Area. We also acknowledge TVET Authority regulatory oversight and stakeholder engagement initiative. And lastly, we acknowledge the reforms of the State Department for TVET towards digitization of training and the development of green TVET curricula aligned to Kenya's climate commitments. We are committed to quality and standards. We reaffirm our commitment to quality, relevance, accountability, and continuous improvement in TVET delivery through full compliance with the national standards, regulatory requirements, and quality assurance frameworks established by TVET Authority and other mandated agencies. Institutions shall ensure compliance with the accreditation requirement for institutions, programs, and trainers. Second commitment, whole of government approach. We call for the strengthened collaboration between the national government, county governments, regulatory agency, and training institutions to ensure coherence in policy implementation, resource allocation, quality assurance, and skills development planning. Our commitment to industry-led skills development, we reaffirm that industry remains the primary consumer of TVET graduates, and therefore we are committed to forging deeper industry participation in occupational standards development, curriculum review, workplace learning, assessment, certification, and graduate transition into employment. We are also committed to competence-based education and training, and we continue to support the continued implementation of CBET while emphasizing the need for policy and curriculum stability, effective change management, strengthened progression pathways, enhanced credit transfer arrangements, and sustained stakeholder sensitization. We are also committed to trainer professionalization. We reaffirm the importance of professionally qualified and competent trainers and call for all stakeholders to be committed to strengthening continuous professional development, harmonized career progression frameworks, strengthen pedagogical capacity, and appreciate transition arrangement for serving trainers. Number 6, we are committed to equity, inclusivity, and learner support. We commit to promoting equitable access to TVET opportunity for all learners, including vulnerable groups, women, youth, persons with disability, marginalized communities, and learners from economically disadvantaged background. As a conference, we declare the following. 1, county governments to prioritize ring-fencing capitation and development funds for vocational training centers via the county integrated development plans. Our second declaration, national government to liaise with county government in developing policies and strategies to equip vocational training centers and integrate vocational training centers trainees into HELB and the KUSIP's enrollment placement service. Number 3, county governments harmonize schemes of service, salaries, and coordinations across county with the national government TVET trainer schemes of service. 4, all employers in the TVET subsector to prioritize recruitment of qualified trainers with pedagogy and licensed by TVET Authority and meeting the trainer qualification framework standards and guidelines. Number 5, the curriculum development body together with the State Department for TVET and TVET Authority to work towards stabilizing the modular CBET curricula. Only licensed TVET trainers with the requisite qualifications should be mandated to lead the curriculum review exercise. 6, the qualification awarding body to reduce certification timelines and strengthen the implementation of the Kenya credit accumulation and transfer systems. 7, all institutions to establish and strengthen the institutional quality assurance systems. Lastly, 8, under declaration, we declare that TVET authority to enhance interagency collaboration while enforcing compliance with the TVET Act requirements. Call for action. We call upon vocational training centers and TVET institutions, 1, to ensure full compliance with the TVET Act, Cap 210A, on registration and licensing of training programs and the establishment of internal quality assurance systems. 2, we call upon vocational training centers and TVET institutions to strengthen collaboration between vocational training centers, technical and vocational colleges, and national polytechnics to facilitate shared use of specialized equipment and facilities. 3, we call upon vocational training centers and TVET institutions to prioritize quality, industry alignment, and learner outcomes. We call upon the county governments to 1, ring-fence and prioritize vocational training center funding and infrastructure development. 2, we call upon the county government to develop policies allowing vocational training center priority access to serviceable county government's disposable vehicles, machinery, tools, and equipment to be used for training. We also call upon county governments to develop a harmonized schemes of service for vocational training center trainers to be adopted across all counties. And lastly, on that section, we call upon county governments to lead capacity building, rebranding, and stakeholders engagement of stakeholders in the vocational training subsector. We call upon TVET Authority and State Department for TVET to regularly convene stakeholders, consultation meetings to address emerging issues affecting the TVET subsector. And 2, to support county governments in developing policies for the vocational training centers. We call upon the national government to extend equipment modernization initiative to vocational training centers alongside the technical and vocational colleges and national polytechnics. We also call upon the national government to establish clearly demarcated training levels to strengthen the complementary training roles of vocational training centers, technical and vocational colleges, and the national polytechnics. We also call upon the national government to formulate policies to protect and strengthen vocational training centers amidst institutional upgrading and restructuring, and to be ready to receive the competence-based education graduates by 2029. We also call upon the national government to develop a harmonized national calendar of events for the vocational training centers. In conclusion, we call for the strengthened coordination among TVET Authority, the State Department for TVET, Kenya National Qualification Authority, Kenya University and Colleges Central Placement Service, TVET CDAC, county government, and other sector agencies to ensure harmonized implementation of policies and seamless learning progression in the TVET subsector. That's the end of the communique. Chair of session, you can lead the adoption process.
Thank you very much. Members, we have heard communique from all what we have discussed for the last 2 days. So we need to adopt it so that we own it. Is that not the process? So we need to adopt it. Do I say, as many opinions say, aye? So they say we should not do it by acclamation because it is something going for records. We need a proposer and a seconder, not acclamation. Members, proposal cannot come from us, it can only come from the floor. You will say your name and your institution for record.
Okay, I propose. My name is Daniel Maswai, Principal Chepsirei TVC, Elgeyo Marakwet County.
My name is Chacha Joseph Kaguri, the Director of Education from Migori County Government. I rise here to second.
You will forgive us that we didn't go the acclamation way, because these are official records, so it requires that it was passed which day, proposed by who, seconded by who. My role could be ending there soon, isn't it?
Yes.
We appreciate you a lot. I know it is a lot, but this was an engagement. We are seeking a partnership. This is just the beginning. We'll do much more going forward. We appreciate you, and keep engaging our management team. Whenever you have issues, they will always be available for you. Asanteni sana. Proceed.
Thank you very much. We are going to clean the document. Then after that, we will circulate to all stakeholders, including the Cabinet Secretary, the Principal Secretary, the Chair of Council of Governors, the COG CEO, and all the other relevant stakeholders, including ourselves, will make it available. We are still receiving submissions, so don't feel locked out. So if in case you had a point that you feel it has not been captured, you can still write to us. If you go to our website, you will see the email address there, info@tveta.go.ke. We are still receiving submissions. At this point, allow me to welcome the chair to close for us. Makofi kwa chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you to our dear stakeholders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and of course, recognizing all the protocols present here. As we come to the close of this important stakeholders engagement workshop, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to all participants for these candid, constructive, and forward-looking discussions that have characterized our engagement the last 2 days. The deliberations have reaffirmed the fundamental truth that technical and vocational education and training remains very central to Kenya's economic transformation, our industrial development, youth empowerment, and realization of the aspirations of Kenya Vision 2030, as well as the bottom-up economic transformation agenda and Agenda 2063. I am very, very encouraged by the openness with which you, our key stakeholders, have shared your experiences, challenges, and aspirations. The issues we have raised the last 2 days, ranging from financing, quality assurance, trainer development, curriculum implementation, and digital transformation to learner supports, governance, and industry partnerships, are not just mere institutional concerns. They are matters of national importance that directly affect the future competitiveness of our workforce and our economy. The Taita Taveta TVET Stakeholders Declaration and communique that we have adopted today provides a clear roadmap for collective action. It demonstrates our shared commitment to strengthening quality, compliance, relevance, inclusivity, and accountability across the TVET ecosystem. Allow me to emphasize that the responsibility for transforming TVET does not lie with any single institution, as we have seen from our conversations here. It requires the entire government approach, whole of society approach, and as well as national governments, county governments, regulatory agencies,
training institutions, the industry partners, development partners, and communities must work together in a spirit of partnership and shared responsibility. As the TVETA Authority Board, we reaffirm our commitment to effective regulation, quality assurance, stakeholder engagement, as we have demonstrated the last 2 days that we have been here, and continuous improvement of the TVET sector. We shall continue to work closely with our partners to address existing and emerging challenges, strengthening compliance, enhancing coordination, and also creating an enabling environment for quality skills development. I encourage all stakeholders here today to champion the implementation of the commitments and actions contained in the communique. Let us move beyond identifying challenges and focus on delivering solutions, as we have already discussed here, through service innovations that together we can do it, all of us as a team. Let us transform our institutions into centers of excellence, and allow me to underline centers of excellence, regardless of the size. You can convert your institution into a center of excellence, innovation, and opportunities. And most important, let us remain focused on the learner, who is the reason why we have come here the last 2 days. The future of Kenya will be shaped not only in our universities and boardrooms, but also in our workshops, laboratories, studios, farms, factories, and training centers like the ones that you represent here today. The investments we make in skills today will determine the prosperity, productivity, and competitiveness of our nation today and even tomorrow. And so with those remarks, I thank you for your participation. Really, really thank you, our key stakeholders, for your participation. I thank, in a very special way, my technical team. We all know we would not have been here if my technical team, led by the Acting Director General, did not commit and do what they had to do for us to be here. So my technical team, I thank you in a very, very special way. I value you. I know I cannot succeed as the chair of the board without your support. Thank you. I thank you, all of you, for your commitment and your continued support to the TVET sector. Together, let us build a responsive, inclusive, innovative, and globally competitive TVET system for the prosperity of Kenya. Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless TVET. Bless Taita Taveta County and Taita Taveta Institute that has hosted us. Bless Kenya. And I wish all of you journey mercies as you return to your respective destinations. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. Thank you, all of us, for your patience. This marks the end of our Stakeholders Engagement Forum. Thank you for your patience. Lunch is ready and available for all of us. We are going to have a national anthem, then a closing prayer. And as we leave, we'll ask the Chief Principal for Taita Taveta National Polytechnic. Our stakeholders would also wish to have a tour of your institution. Kindly, you can be on standby to guide us. For those who will be after lunch, those who would want to appreciate your workshops and laboratories so that they can now be guided, you can assign them someone. So maybe you can have remarks on that.
Thank you very much. Our Deputy Principal in charge of Academic Affairs, Madam Laura, will be able to take members who are interested in touring our Polytechnic. We have facilities that can be of interest, especially our Center of Excellence in Gemology. It is a place that I wish many of us can see. We are the only TVET institution in this region that have such kind of equipment where we offer gemology training that is in gemstones and other areas of interest. So we shall have that tour maybe after lunch for those who will still be around. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your hospitality. Kindly, let's rise up for a national anthem. And then our manager kindly just be coming, the one who is going to make the closing prayer. Thank you.